This week? Oh man, we gotta have some fights.
No sleep. Don't matter, man. I trust this team. I love this team, man. Way to come down here and steal this one, man. Walk in your trash, take over your trash.
Say we might be delayed, but we ain't gonna be denied. We ain't being denied. And no matter what the we do, we can show up this at 11:05. As long as kickoff is 12:05, we good. Yeah. That's the mindset. That's the mindset, man. The most important thing, to be honest, man, is the team. That's right. The team, man. Special teams, offense, defense, man. There's no blinking, no flinch in this group throughout this whole season, man. And all this is just another testament to you guys. I always say, this ain't about me, this ain't about nobody else, it's about you, 53 gentlemen in this building. You run the show. When you make up your mind, it happens. By all means, that say don't matter, man. However we got to get it done. You guys scratch your claw, man. Proud of you, man. Proud of you. Break it down, man.
Hey, you shout there. Hey, family on three. 1, 2, 3.
And right there you go. And right there, you saw the score. Raiders double down on this whole tanking plan or whatever. 25-10. What is up, Asylum? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And first foremost, before we get started on anything else, thoughts and prayers go out to the families affected by what happened in New Orleans earlier this morning on this New Year. Our thoughts and prayers go out to all those people affected. It's sad we got to deal with this shit. But other than that, I mean, it's a new year. I'm happy fucking with that win. Keep it coming. One more to do. And, you know, that's all we got. One more and then back to work.
And then it's another off season of WTF. What's going to happen next?
Yeah, what's going to be exactly. And there's a lot of fucking rumors going out right now on absolutely every aspect of, you know, the team. You got rumors floating all up and down the organization, and sooner or later the rumors will become reality or just I told you so. That was never going to fucking happen.
Yes. So I was texting my sister last night. I said, Happy New Year's. Let's go. All right. Oh yeah, okay. So happy New Year's, everybody, and we already got a lot of people watching this right off the bat. We appreciate it. We're at 237 right now, and hope you guys saw that Matrix short you put out there. So, because you know,
after the show, go catch it. It's pretty goddamn good. It's going to piss off some people. It's going to piss off some people because they don't believe in what's happening in that clip, and I'm not going to give it away so everyone can go watch it. But you know, it's how we here at the Cage Match feel, and everybody who watches the Cage Match knows how we feel.
Yes, I wasn't. Hold on, my computer. Yes, okay. Now I say because remember, since day one, we've always been Team Ramrod. No matter everybody else is maybe on the bandwagon now, but we were here first. All right, Asylum. Let's do our favorite segment.
No, I'm just looking at the chat, people talking about Vegas. I don't know what happened in Vegas. What I was talking about, I thought happened in New Orleans, not in Vegas. Do I have my cities wrong?
No, it was New Orleans. So
it was okay. That's what I thought. Okay,
I don't know, Alicia.
I don't know what happened in Vegas. So now we can go back. I just wanted to make sure I got my shit right because you know, here we try to be accurate with what we put out there on the Cage Match, and if I had it wrong, I had to fix it before going into your favorite segment here.
Yes. The shameless plug. Here we go.
All right. God damn. Excuse me. All right. Everyone go to the YouTube channel, The Cage Match Show. Like, share, subscribe. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Hit that bell. That way you can see anytime a video, a short like we have out, we're talking about, memes, whatever else we want to put out drops, you get to see it. Excuse me. And if Roger Goodell pulls his bullshit, you know, we're coming to the end of the year. We know how he likes to fucking, you know, I know it's past Christmas. He still like to be a Grinch. Go ahead and catch us on Facebook, on the Oakland Raiders Savage Facebook page, or my Facebook page, Asylum. And then when we come back on, bam, come back to YouTube, The Cage Match Show. And catch us there because it's always better and we get to see all the comments and all that other shit. Then when it's all over and after you watch the short, go to WGG, browse their variety of different energy drinks or energy mixes, I should say. And then when you're ready to check out, put Cage Match, one word, in the discount code to get 10% off your entire order.
And like we always say, and they had 2 in a row now, when you think of wins, you think of dubs. When you think of dubs, think of W. Go to W.GG. Go into the discount code. Put in the Cage Match, CAGEMATCH, for 10% off your whole order. Help us out, because that is our only sponsor right now. So please help us out. Go check that out. They got great stuff. And, you know, I do have a bottle, okay? So I have my W. I have my W, okay? W. So, go there, check that out. Asylum has BWs, Budweiser. So,
Bubby. I got Bubby.
Yes, Bubby. So go there, help us out, 10% your whole order. Check that out. And then also, shouts out to the compa, Fabian. Go over there, www.rn4lifer.com, RaiderNationForLifer.com. Check out his catalog. He has great merch. Usually I wear hats made by him. And you know, I don't know. I've been liking my gray hat right now, you know, because it fits. So
it fits, right? You know, then a fitted cap. Those fitted caps always are so nice.
Actually, it's not. It's not. But
snapback.
It's snapback. But you know, I'm now on number 3. So I used to be on number 2. Now number 3. So now it's holding on better than it was before. Before it was dear life. Okay. So, anyways, go there, check his stuff out, and you know, usually I would go straight into the RaiderMan a graphic, and I say shout out to RaiderMan. But you know what? You saw the thumbnail. We have the man right here. Not only is it New Year's, it is his birthday. So we say we. Let's say before we bring him on, also shouts out to Raider Homer. His birthday was yesterday. So shouts out to Raider Homer. His birthday was yesterday. So anyways, but yeah, shouts out to Raider Homer. Yeah,
happy birthday, RaiderMan. And any other birthdays that we missed, because of whatever. Happy birthday to you all. Hope it's going to be a good one in this new year and everything, pans out for us and you.
Look at, I said RaiderMan, and now we're up to 13. So that means everyone's ready for RaiderMan. Here we go. Here's RaiderMan. Here's his intro. Here we go right now.
I am a Raiders fan.
What is up, brother? RaiderMan. What is up? Been a long time.
Hey, man, that shit got my hands sweating over here. That's a beautiful thing. Hey, you know what? I want to tab in on the shouts out. Happy New Year to you, brothers. God bless your hearts. I appreciate you, hitting me up, getting me in here. But, man, there's so many birthdays with all of the stuff that's going on in the world. I want to take a second to throw a few happy birthday shouts my damn self. And shouts out to my brother, man, Raider Homer, man. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to the mob boss. Happy birthday to my princess, man. My baby girl birthday was 2 days after Christmas. Got a bunch of birthdays jumbled up here, man. I want to celebrate them all. Happy birthday to my QB1. My wife's birthday is on the 8th next week. So it's like I'm just encompassing them all. Take them all down right now. Look, it's a lot of crazy stuff going on in this world. And my son was hipping me to the game asylum. You were right on with the thing that was going on in New Orleans. We shouts out in prayers to all the people affected by that thing that was going on, that craziness. But my son said apparently there was a cyber truck of some sort that blew up outside the Trump Tower or building or whatever.
Yeah, okay. I did see something on that. Yeah. I didn't know what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, so, it's just like it's really just shouts out and prayer and wishes to everybody, man, because, the Christmas season, I don't know how it is for people, out there. I only can do my house. And our thing is never about the materialistics and all the things that this society, portrays as far as these holiday seasons and the way they're supposed to go. I am one that just happy for life, December 8th of 2000 was the day I got shot in the chest. By grace of God, alone, and, just glory, I get a chance to be here and experience life. And so I'm doing my best to keep celebrating and having, I don't know what some people call anniversaries, but I like to call them my grateful for my right nows. I love my right nows. And I love it that I get a chance to share this right now with my brothers and all the people there, whoever's tapped in on the chat. Just, in spirit, man, anybody that's got the spirit to pick up on that line, man, we got to hold it. We got to stick together because this mass media stuff is doing their best to pull us apart and we can't let them do that. So, I kind of started to ramble in this, but I wanted to celebrate this and do something a little bit different. Since it is alive and this is the cage match, I forgot come off the top turnbuckle with some of that RaiderMan specialistic. My son, my wife, they got me cakes. My son just brought in one of those ice cream cakes. They up there putting a candle on the thing right now. I want to do it just a universal share with everybody that we doing, a happy birthday in love and spirit. Fresh from the loving hearts and minds of the cage match, from the bowels of the black hole to the deep outstretch of the Raider Nation and all this global fantastic self. We want to make sure that we let the people know that the people need to grow. And we got to be able to grow through this thing together, man. So, we got to really reel back all of this trying to be fantastic bullshit, and this whole new era with our kids is doing these pranks and all that kind of stuff. I still don't even like practical jokes. Fuck a prank. You know what I mean? Pranks is getting people hurt. But just lying to each other and just not being able to be on a human level with each other and honestly just love on each other just like y'all. Reach out, see how our brother doing. Hey, motherfucker, how are you? You know what I mean? Miss hearing your voice. You know what I'm saying? I know you're ugly, but we need your face on the camera. That kind of shit is what the lifeblood of humanity is supposed to be about. And that's who we are. That's who we've always been. And you guys being a staple, we were sharing this in conversation before we came on, but that's the preciousness and that's what makes this show so valuable to me. That's why this is really, it should be a growing, almost Raider national treasure. because this is authentic. This is the origins of our species and our humanity and how things really go in the Raider Nation and in the black hole, and the world need to see it. And because you're not, it's only Dubby that's out there holding it down. You know what I'm saying? All you big Dubbies, y'all make sure y'all get in there and support, man. Because it's like, we do need sponsorships, and it's sad that that's the only way that you can honestly get your voice heard and be seen on that national spectacle. But if that's the way to go, then that means that maybe we're not supporting each other in the ways that we need to be supporting each other, and that kind of shit takes communication. That's a purposeful endeavor. Come on, baby, we gotta do this now. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do this because I'm rambling enough. I want to shut my mouth and let us get back to the main thing that's really truly germane. But I want to break and just truly enjoy life with all of the people that's out there in the world that really want to be able to just love on each other and know that there's a space for you and a place for you. Your friendly neighborhood is still that guy. I'm still doing but with that being said, God said we still here. So let's just celebrate that together. And, however you do it, I like the Stevie Wonder version of happy birthday and all the rest of that shit. But just sing it in your heart, man. Happy birthday to everybody that's having a birthday. Whether it's your birthday today, like me, or not. Yeah. It could be yesterday. We shout out to the brother, man, my boss, Homer, my wife this week. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, we want to just love on everybody and let you know that, love still got to be first, and we got to be able to love on each other. So, I don't know shit. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Exclusive. We doing shit different, man. And that was Acapulco. Shit, I'm amphibious. Yeah, I'm blowing you up.
These cameras don't like the candles, I think.
Fire
I love everybody. Shouts out to Will Ferrell. I don't know that dude, but that was an outstanding line.
I was gonna say, I think your candles are backwards. Is it supposed to say 25?
I should have said 19. I told them it was on the wrong aisle. No, but you know what? Honestly speaking, I am so happy for every one of them 52. Because, I didn't expect to see past 19. And 19 was special to me then. But through everything that I've seen, when I got shot, I was 27 years old. Or, just young. And, we were young. We were babies doing this thing in Raider Nation. And just think of how impactful things were at that time. Rob taking over Highland Hospital in the emergency area. And, everybody flooding over there while we in the midst of our first playoff bid since, I don't know, shit, we were sorry as hell. We had just got back into the damn playoffs. Yeah. And everybody, doing their thing in Raider Nation, in the black hole, and all of that shit in one way or another freezes and comes over to commandeer a service elevator for a damn, national recognized trauma center hospital, one of the most famous, one of the most lauded, Oakland Highland General. Emergency. It's really hard to quantify just how big it is to celebrate every year. Not, because that didn't wake me up. I just like all of a sudden RaiderMan is, and he, just Mr. Prayerful and all the rest of this stuff. I still don't claim to be the greatest Christian, but ain't nobody gonna ever knock my belief. My faith has always been real, and I've always been the same person. That's the foundation of our relationship. We don't switch up on each other. We don't change. And to be able to still be called upon and able to still live this life today, after everything that I've seen, after everything we still experiencing, I take 52. My goal is AKA 53 or whatever the hell they want to call it. The only year I don't acknowledge is 58, a 48 plus 1. 48 plus 1 can go to hell. 50 minus 1 ain't shit.
Yeah. When I turn that, I'll be like, I'm 48 for 2 years.
Hey, I'm never going a day past 19. I was born at 19. I was born, live, stay, and gonna die. You know what I'm saying? I'm in it to win it, nothing to lose. Jump in the ocean will see me in shoes.
Well,
no brand sponsorships, but I'm about to do a toast, y'all. Oh, shit's about to get real. I tell you what. Oh yeah, look, I'm representing too. I don't know if y'all can see that.
Oh,
My lighting game ain't shit. That's a black hole. Just want to shout out to my brothers out there and sisters in the black hole. You know, gratefully we don't have guys and gals. Hold on, conversation. But, yeah.
Thank you.
I'm gonna type in the link. I'm gonna do it as soon as I can. I don't want to mess up the stream. I don't know. Give me a minute. I'll get it to you. I love you, man. Thank you. Sounds like a pair. So
my girlfriend got me. My girlfriend poured me a shot real quick. So,
Ting. Wait, we gotta do the Florence Henderson. Here's a story of a lovely lady. They were toasting on 3 podcasts at the same. Hey, I love you guys, man. Happy New Year. Black Hole, Raider Nation, world at large, man. We as people got to endeavor to do better. If we don't, we get worse. Fuck that. Let's do it.
Raiders. And like we like to say before we start the show, whoever's on whatever, you always say in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Roller. All right. Well, RaiderMan, speaking of always here to win, what do you think about a talk of people who are upset with the 2-game winning streak that we had, now towards the end of the season? Everyone's upset. They want that number 1 pick, and now we have fallen all the way down as of right now to number 8. What is your take on this?
I think it's a fascinating conversation. I got some really, really close friends outstretched the Raider Nation. Shouts out El Paso, Texas for Paso Raiders. Shouts out Glenn D's over in Oklahoma. Shouts out Grumpy Ass Mexican. My brother, man, I don't know. I think in Seattle area, should Grumpy on the move. I don't want to be putting everybody's shit on the block. But my point about it is, I love the vast amount of opinions that there are behind it. Because, this is my philosophy literally on life. It's kind of a truity, but it's just something I always say. But there's a lot of facts that people, everybody want to be right. And their right won't necessarily equate to the right. And, the facts don't always, no matter how many facts you have, that shit don't always add up to the truth. I can easily be torn because the conversation is really intriguing in how factual and how, I guess you could say analytical a lot of opinions are. Because you're looking at how the trends of shit go. You're looking at the life cycle of this game of entertainment that we call football still, but this game is changing. It's not the same game. And they're running this, it's not even really a game anymore. It's more of a business. And this business model has a certain cycle to it that's easy to follow. And if you're not following that cycle, you kind of start to fall into what we look like. And it's been happening for 20, 30 years. And all of these people who are smart people, business people, love the fucking Raiders the way they love the Raiders, they shouldn't be ostracized for their honest opinion and how they don't see our organization in its losing fashion matching up to the cycle of this business called the NFL. So, I believe it is wrong to attack, to personally try to belittle or portray these people. Like I hear people call, oh, you're not a fan and shit like that or whatever. There's no space for that. Most of the people that say that shit ain't even really Raider fans. You know what I'm saying? They just platform holders, and if they microphone, they gonna say what the fuck they want. So, people take that shit for what it is. I take it with a grain of salt because honestly speaking, there's a lot of truth in those facts. We had that number one pick, which we were well on our way to with how the shit was going. It's like watching Christmas coming and you swear up and down you're going to have that fucking Red Ryder rifle up under the Christmas tree. You done wrote your best fucking theme. You done brought apples and spices and shit. You making sure you're on time for class, even though your partner fucking tongue stuck to the pole right outside. But you're not going to get what you want because it's just not lining up the way you see shit going. But ultimately, you don't know the truth of what's really happening. And, that's where the Raider man in me, let alone the Raider fan in me, kick in. Because King Al's motto is just win, baby. Yeah. It's always been commitment to excellence. We haven't exuded excellence in so long that we've become like mean to national fans and pundits. They want so bad. They love us. They love to hate us so badly that they long for us to stay in this fucking dysfunctional position. And so, like I said, just circling back, I see the rationale in, you done lost this much. Why the fuck would you? Why the fuck you want to win now? What the fuck is wrong with you? But then you look at the other side of it is in that, much respect to our law enforcement or whatever respect that I can garner and give. Those are human beings that go out there and do a job that everybody can't do, everybody won't do. And people criticize a lot of times how they do it, especially in how they dress to do it. Oh, you got on all that shit and all the rest of this shit. Yeah, well, you're not the motherfucker getting shot at all day. You're not the motherfucker that the sniper, when he reaching down, he's not looking at you. He don't give a fuck about you. But, when you listen to people criticize you about these things, your heart can kind of be swayed because you're still a human being inside that shit. You still want to be accepted. You still want to feel like everybody else. And to kind of make an analogy on those staffs, Coach AP having his first fucking opportunity to coach in football, and this is NFL, I just couldn't fathom honestly thinking that in one way or another in his mind, he could be thinking, you know what? I'm so comfortable in my position. I trust these motherfuckers around me so much. I can afford to lose. the motherfucker that they just fired and brought me in so I can holler Raiders to the locker room because can't nobody else fucking do it like that. Shouts out to my coach AP. They just fired a motherfucker who won 6 Super Bowls and swore up and down he knew what he was doing. He was a genius and all the rest of that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So how comfortable? And then, you got people going on the fucking field. National Football League, professional league players. Some of them juiced up, some of them ain't. Everybody in their own way got to that level and out there doing that thing and crashing into each other for our fucking entertainment. And you really think that they can afford to say, you know what? I'm going to peel back on this play. I'm not going to play so hard. You get your fucking neck broke out there. Football ain't game that's made for human beings to play. We too spoiled. People take this shit too far. It's easy to get on the radio or a podcast and start talking shit and throwing around opinions. But, most of us, if not, not even really all of us, can claim that we got to the highest level of the high school fucking football. You know what I'm saying? And we think that we buying merch and we buying the tickets that all of a sudden, we got our fantasy football teams that we actually owners of these human beings and of these organizations in the ways of their works. I would suggest this. Remember that everything in life moves in cycles. That's why the people that have the opinions about, the tank, which I don't believe in tank. In my philosophy, I've actually gone on the radio and said this. People like to kind of brush back my shit that I say. But I say I double down on my own. I say it again. Bad teams don't need to tank. And
Yeah.
people want to take that shit as a swipe. So, that's a criticism towards Coach AP. He didn't have a team. Man, it ain't fucking been a week or a day that team ain't been ready to do whatever the fuck AP say. As human beings, you know what I'm saying, you can be pushing yourself as hard as you can into something that's what they call fucking futility.
AP had us going. The thing, I mean, you go a couple of bad plays, different little things, and our record's completely different because some of those losses could have been and should have been wins, but a bad snap, missed field goal, whatever you want to go with on shit. And if it wasn't for AP having the players ready to play, playing 100%, doing all this shit, that wouldn't have been. They would have been all blow, like you said, bad teams, right? It would have been all blowouts. We would handily have the number one position, all this other shit, and not have games that we should have fucking won or possibly could have won. Not even should have won, but could have won because those players were out there giving it 110%, not even 100%, but they were giving it 110%. And it was, as we've always said, it's been for the coach.
Real talk. Yeah. It's been for that coach. And there's no knock on anything else. People don't know how to isolate. Compartmentalize used to be a word that people use, because back when I was in school, they had courses called critical thinking. And you had a way to kind of process your shit. You can, find out if you're good in critical thinking and go into debate and learn how to speak. Now everybody want to be a fucking coward and shoot and hide behind keyboards and do pranks and stupid shit like that. Humanity is on the fucking downfall of toxicity, and it's because they don't appreciate the grassroots level of people like just what you're saying, Asylum. You need people that's there as your glue person. The person that you're doing this for, you know what I'm saying? Back, I don't like to use terms like back in the day, but, as youngers, there was always our moms. Everything was about mom and grandma and all that shit. But somewhere over the years, a lot of women decided, you know what? I'm too old to be a grandmother, and I don't want to be all that, and I don't need to do this, and I don't give a shit about cooking. And so the nurturing thing kind of got split, if nothing else, parsed out. So I believe there's a whole generation of people that really just don't appreciate the exact same shit because they don't have the exact same foundations. We talking the same language in different vernaculars, and that shouldn't be because, when the rubber hits the road, you got to have your glue person. You got to have the reason why you're doing it. We all got here for a reason. Nobody just woke up like I just chose to be here. Where the fuck did that mentality come from? And when you're a bunch of fucking millionaires, in levels, all the way from your 100,000aires that's comfortable because, they're not making the money, but they got the provisions. They got good benefits. They got dental. They got vision. You know what I'm saying? They can do shit. They on a different level. They're part of that fraternity, that society. But ultimately, the people that's paying money into this shit, the people that's detached into the society, are a large, kind of like keyboard jockeying what people's lifestyles are. So coaching isn't appreciated. What Coach AP is doing as, stepping into this fucking literal bonfire, he stepped in that motherfucker looking like Burning Man, I'm interim coach, you know what I'm saying? Just out of nowhere. We in the locker room, we talking shit, having beers. He probably had a joint in his hand. And then Mark Day was like, hey, Coach AP, how'd you like to be head coach? He's like, fuck it, why not? You know what I mean? Hey, nobody knows, but you got all these people cooking up all this shit, because in the media they can get away with fucking anything. They can just cook that shit up for you and sell it to you and package it. And that's why I really feel like I'm not gonna ride this horse long, but I'm gonna say it because it's on my chest. Raider Nation is being exploited. It ain't nobody like us. And if you can just get that train moving, you just get all that energy, all these fucking people just being themselves, going into this pathology of thinking. That's why I say what I say, because just like King Al professed, the greatness of the Raiders is in its future. That greatness also encompasses Raider Nation. Starting with the basis of the black hole and everything that we encompass. And once we start deciding that, you know what, this corporate way of doing shit is only about selling tickets, it's only about filling up the seats, it's only about selling merch, it's only about kissing everybody's ass. This is a brand, you know, and the people that created the brand should be the people that's running the brand, should be the people that's being, you know, beneficial or benefited from the brand, because those are the people that are pipelined to the people that need the benefits of those benefits. And that's why this shit don't work, because it's not trickling down. Everybody on the top talking all they shit are living this shit for themselves. They never help no fucking body. They don't give a fuck about nobody. There ain't no opportunities. There ain't no opportunities for RaiderMan. It's fuck RaiderMan. But, you know what I'm saying? Support me, do what the fuck what I say, listen to me, because I got all the sponsorships. This world cannot continue to go like that. I'm saying this because it's a brand new day. I happen to celebrate a day that was created to make people think, well, I ain't going in all of that shit, but I know what I believe. And, you know, all of this shit is propaganda. I'm grateful to be here in my right now. I'm grateful to be here today, despite the fact that it's January 1st on the calendar date. Yeah. I'm grateful for my right now because I'm getting a chance to appreciate my life in the spectacle of my friends and my family.
Yeah.
And y'all mean everything to me. And that shit, it extends to every single person that's tied to this shit one way or the other. Even if all you give a shit about is the colors on the fucking uniforms of the people that's running around for your entertainment. But if we don't give a shit about each other first, all of this shit is for naught. And it's changing. And it's changing because of those people, and they want to be on top of the numbers and all the fuck they give a shit about. And what I want to reiterate, in the midst of all of this havoc and all the shit that's going on, we ain't shit without we.
Yeah.
We got to grow through this shit together, and we need each other. And fuck what you think. You know what I'm saying? We need our mothers. We need our grandmothers. We need the women, the young girls who give a shit about all of that, you know, with the girls write off and laugh and they talk all it down and call each other them crazy names and all that kind of shit. But we don't need that. We need you. So, you know, just remember that, you know, there's a time and a place for every fucking thing. And, you know, our society got this way. Kind of, it wasn't for no reason. So, like, dig into those reasons and realize your space in them and realize that you create change. And, you know, we do that shit together. That's Raider Nation.
Yeah. And that's kind of like what we're going through, you know, with the 20 plus years of losing. And we have like, you know, guys like us, you know, who were there. And I'm not gonna say like me, like I know there's people who were like seeing the Super Bowl years. I was born 2 years after their last victory in Super Bowl 18. I was born 2 years after, so I saw one
you
Super Bowl.
Old enough though, because you grew up on force-fed shit. You know what I'm saying? So some of that you kind of can glean by proxy. You got to write.
Yeah. I did all my, you know, and I was younger, growing up as a Raider fan, and when I started playing high school football and I started understanding the sport and, you know, all like the rules and everything, and I was getting more into like the Raider history of the different teams that we had, the golden years of the 70s, the late 60s going into the early 80s, those years right there, John Madden, Tom Flores. So I would learn about it, but I haven't personally seen it yet. The closest I got to was that little run we had in the early 2000s where we lost to the Ravens in the championship game, and then of course the snow game, and then the Super Bowl that we go against our former coach and John Gruden. Not even a year after we traded him, it was like 8 months later. Hey, I remember you.
I have heartburn. Thanks.
Yeah. So I mean, that was the closest I'd seen the glory.
With things like you
from my cataract
now, and that's what's great about this shit. Is it so much out there that you can find all the glory years? And yes, you weren't necessarily there for it. I mean, you're talking about you weren't even born yet. I was born during, you know, right after the first Super Bowl. I was alive for the, you know, the next two, but I was like so fucking young that, you know, all you're looking at is, oh, football. You don't really know what's fucking going on to see it. You know, I mean, when you're, you know, 3, 4, 5 years old, you know, you're just starting to get into, oh, my dad likes to watch, you know, and shit like that. So, even being there for it, some of us, watched it, didn't know what the fuck we were watching at the time, but because like YouTube and all this shit, and like you said, we like to go with the history and go.
Yep.
It's
all microwave. I mean, think about this. And everything you saying, I'm gonna double down and accentuate your point. All this shit was happening in the 70s and then into the 80s. I was born today, 1973. All the shit that was happening in the world by 76, going into 77, all those almostes and 78 and 79s and 80.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, 80, we got back up there and all that kind of shit. It was a lot of shit going on. And then usher in the 80s, in the cocaine era and all the cocaine.
Cocaine and steroids. Cocaine and steroids.
Saying absolute no. I don't say no to drugs, but I might do me a little too. I might do a little too.
I don't do drugs, cocaine's okay.
And shouts out to that dude. That shit's funny as fuck. I don't do drugs. I don't fuck with drugs. I might hit me a little dude every once in a while. Might do a little too. I love that fucking video, man.
And that's the I don't want to say it's the generation that I don't want to say the older generation, but the generation that was able to live those years that are still following the team, and we're like, no, we don't believe in tanking. I don't want to lose. I don't care. And then you have the generation, like I said, like mine, who seen a Raider team go to the Super Bowl. And we had a lot of older veterans, Rich Gannon, Tim Brown, Jerry Rice that came over a few years before that Super Bowl. We had a lot of aging players that got us to there. And since that 2002 team, because we didn't have any players developed underneath them, we just been on a downhill trying to replace with more veterans past their prime. And Asylum always says it, guys that we had to overpay just to attract them over to the team. And now, we're riding that, and maybe it is social media where a lot of folks, there's I want to say there's too many voices, but not that people don't deserve to have their voice, but some people abuse that when they come and attack everybody else. Like you said, RaiderMan, oh, well, you're not a Raider fan. If you want them to win in meaningless games, or you're not a Raider fan if you want them to lose, that's not Raider like. We're just win baby, but we haven't won in 20-something years. How about we lose now to win later? And it's like, I understand both sides of the spectrum, but like you said, we can all have an opinion, but don't attack somebody else for not believing in what you think. You can respectfully disagree. Okay, whatever, like we used to do with the old tailgates in Oakland. We all have arguments, man, no, that player sucks, man. We should get that player. Da-da-da-da. And at the end of the day, you take a shot, and then you go and watch the same game, and you cheer for the same team.
Them arguments last for years, too. Them arguments last us till our argument buddies died, and we still arguing about this shit, and his ass is dead, and we can't argue about it no more. But you said something that was really poignant in everything that you said, Sal. It's like there's a whole generation jump there. And, it's the communication that you just having, as I'm calling you a youngster because I get to claim 52. I'm the old man on this line. But what you said something that was really, really poignant. We're coming through the 80s, coming out of the 70s, the whole origin of the team from the 60s to when Al Davis took over in 63, put that Raider stamp on it, started creating what we know as a culture, all that stuff. There was something to that. That shit was special. That was like the old school E.F. Hutton. When that shit talked, everybody listened. It was a different time. That was earned. That wasn't like, growing into these new eras, the business started creeping into the fucking NFL. And everything started becoming about the money, which is a lot of reasons in the premise of why Al Davis was fighting for what he was fighting for. It wasn't about the move. It was about the ability to create the revenue that it takes to be where this generation of football is. He saw it then. In my mind's eye, as a Maverick, I believe Al Davis saw what's happening now then, but for him.
Yeah.
He was tired of being the little fledgling. Fuck you. Just like he was telling our Rooney and Modell and all them some bitches. Like one for Tex Schramm. Like, yeah, y'all big tycoons and y'all got y'all shit and everything, whatever. But I got a team too. And my team will kick your fucking ass. You know what I'm saying? It's no different. All those cats that come from off the corners. You know what I'm saying? You from out off the, they call it. You come from out the ghetto.
Here talking about running up the score on the Chargers here.
Yeah,
right?
Just like the homecoming games. They never like to see us in the homecoming games because we're gonna run up the score on you. Because the whole fear factor is if we beat this team, we gotta fight this team. And we don't want to fight this team. So you kind of got your mind playing against how much do you really care about winning. When our team give a shit about.
The Raiders have always been a blue-collar team, and that's what Al grew this into. It was, we're a blue-collar team, and yes, we're going to come in, punch you in the mouth. We're going to do it our way. We don't need these, like you were talking about, the tycoons, all the people with the big money who, before the salary cap, when you could spend the money and buy a team, basically, and send it out there. Al Davis was doing it, his way and saying, you know what, you're not going to forget us. We may be a little guy, but you're going to remember us when this game is over because not only are we going to but we're going to stay fucking fighting from the minute that whistle blows till the clock hits 000 and that next whistle blows. You're going to feel every bit of the game. And that was Al Davis's mentality right there.
Yeah. To King Al. I'm taking a shot to King Al right now. That was some of the baddest shit I ever heard. Ain't no podcast got it like that. Cage match only, motherfucker. Off the top rope by the asylum. High like Jimmy Superfly motherfucking Snooker off the steroids. No, but Raiders. I owed you one from the last one, but somebody else was talking. This is a podcast. We can't be selfish. We got to watch each other's time. But that's some seriously poignant conversation because think about what we're talking about, gentlemen. Now, going back to the point that I was making about what Savage was saying, this is a generation of people who, now there's a couple different confluences here. One, you got people of that era that start to die. So you lose the spirits that naturally carry that spirit. Those spirits had kids and nephews and nieces and cousins and uncles and shit around them that got infected by that spirit. And they all carried that spirit their way, and they started to kind of die off. But the spirit was changing because all of the kids that got, we call it raised up in the right way, like Savage, they got thrown into their colors, and they actually loved it. So they was encouraged to wear it and cultivate it and do their thing. Yeah. But now, through all of the excitement of just being kid and just getting all that adulation, and they say, hey, it's just a fucking Raider Nation party. Hey. Now I'm 35, 40, damn near 50 fucking years old. I'm not a kid anymore. This shit ain't cute. These motherfuckers ain't been winning my whole fucking life. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing shit the way these other fucking winning teams are doing it. And we had draft positions in the past that said that we could have been doing it that way. A lot of the players that we revere are players that we actually coveted. And we just hate them because they didn't end up on our fucking team. And we don't have no rationale for why that is. And so we just shooting fucking hate daggers off into the universe because we got nowhere to go with all that fucking energy. Yeah. And this new wave, all of the bullshit, just these glamour chasing motherfuckers, these non-Raider fans that's coming and telling you what's cool about being a Raider fan and how long I've been doing this and all the rest of that kind of bullshit. It's like trumping you. It's no different than fucking Christopher Columbus. You know what I'm saying? And you land on this fucking place and everybody there and, having barbecues and tailgates and doing their thing. And like, oh, look what I discovered. I discovered Raider Nation. And then you go out there and you just start marketing shit. You go back to your partners and sell T-shirts. And none of these motherfuckers was from money and all that stuff, so they didn't care. They was all blue collar. But now the blue collar motherfuckers are dying, and all the fucking trust fund kids and the people that's benefiting off the fucking insurance policies and the season ticket that was left behind. And I've been a Raider fan since I was a baby. Hey, look at me and my Raider booties. And now they got a reputation to protect because your team is a fucking loser. and you're sick of affiliating with that shit, and you start pushing back and start asking questions, well, how come this team ain't doing it like the other team? That's exactly why that conversation is germane. That's a real conversation. And that conversation shouldn't be assuaded. It shouldn't be, like poo-pooed, as I like to call it. It shouldn't be, diminished. These human beings deserve answers. They deserve a resolve. So then you throw them somebody like Coach AP, somebody that's from the grit. Because what they did was they brought in the other dude. I don't even say his name or what his fucking affiliation is. I will acknowledge that he won 6 Super Bowls. But they brought that motherfucker in because that was supposed to be, oh, look, we got Ritz crackers. We're going to show you little peasant motherfuckers how we get down because this is Vegas. This is all us and our glitz and glamour and all that shit. But our bloodline, our DNA is blue collar. That shit don't fit us.
It's blue collar. We've always been blue collar.
We've always been blue collar.
There's a handful of teams that's always been considered blue collar. The Steelers, one of them, and we've been in head-to-head, toe-to-toe fights with all them.
It took us to take the motherfuckers down.
But that's what I'm saying. You have certain teams that are just known as blue-collar teams. They were blue-collar from the get-go, and the Raiders have always, since 60s in the AFL and everything, we have always been blue-collar, and when Al Davis took it over and became and did everything, he took those blue-collar roots and embraced them. And after embracing it, he turned around and said, this was our identity. Savage talked about identity before. Our identity is flat out, we're a blue-collar team who ain't afraid to get dirty. We ain't afraid to do shit the hard way. And we're going to come out and make you feel Max Crosby, right? He touches every damn quarterback, even if he didn't get to him. He's, going – we still have players who embraces that blue-collar mentality.
That's why he was called to be the head coach.
He just put up
That's exactly why.
Team Ramrock. Aidan O'Connell is a blue-collar player. He's done nothing but fight for a starting position since he was in high school.
Yeah.
He was never given a job. He sat there, did all the work, even amidst all this talk about drafting and get a quarterback, all this. He's like, I don't care. I'm going to do what I need to do to get this job. That's a blue-collar worker. Putting in the work, putting in the hard work, doing what needs to be done to sit there and show, hey, you need to prove it? I'll not only prove it, but I'm going to blow your socks off.
Exactly. And shit. I could have said that shit better myself. I'm over here drinking too fast, but I would take a shot for that shit right now.
You're gonna end up like Asylum.
This ain't that drinking podcast, but this is starting to get a little loosey goosey on the fucking rails right now. No sponsorships given, but the alcohol works great.
That was Asylum on Friday. I don't care. I'm here. Let's go, Raiders. Let's go. End up like this right here. Hey, like this right here.
Take over, Monty. I'm in the bag.
Me?
That's what's gonna happen again.
Hey, great dig. You know what's beautiful about that shit? When I was in the movie theaters for a lot of blockbuster fucking movies, I was actually working as the head usher of Hilltop 1 through 4. Y'all had to Google it because it no longer exists. Hilltop 1 through 4, Cineplex fucking Odeon when Major League came out. I remember ushering motherfuckers to the theaters behind that damn movie. I picked up a lot of popcorn on that flick. Wow, dang! That's a classic, man. That's a classic.
I was still hear it on Friday. That's all I have to say. I was still able to do my job.
Hey, to this day, I'm trying not to piss Jobu off.
Oh no, we tried to pray to Jobu. It didn't work, so we're like, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of politically incorrect. You can't get away with shit like that no more.
Hey, we tried. We tried.
You got these different fucking bullies now, man. You got cancel culture bullies out there and shit. They tell you what the fuck is inappropriate.
You got Aljo Boo right there. We tried praying to him and everything.
Hey, CC, Joe Boo.
Say, you know what? Fuck you, Joe Boo. And then I was like,
hey, bring this motherfucker a box of KFC, man.
Yeah, I need a chicken to sacrifice.
That's where we went wrong. We didn't have the chicken for sacrifice.
Yeah, see, or he's original or crispy.
You know, we did the steak, we did everything else, but we forgot the chicken. Now we know
I got the chicken. We need a whole chicken. It's supposed to be live.
Yeah, we might bring him back again for this draft. Like, oh, Joe Boo, please give us your guidance in the draft.
Hey, we might need to do a fucking. We might need to do a Sperano instead of burying a football. You need to bury a box of fucking KFC.
Yeah, no, we try everything on the show, so we try everything.
Hey, but Jermaine, to the point though with AP, man, you know, and I think it's a beautiful thing with the coach because, you know, it's caught up in that same backwash of that swirling conversation about the analytics of how to build this team and all the opinions of, you know, draft stock and capital and all the rest of that kind of shit. You know, there's a lot of great conversations on both sides of that because I don't know. I end up with the blessing. We end up with number 19 again for 2 years in a row. We end up with Brock Bowers.
Yeah,
you know, because everybody's following the analytics and trying to do their thing, and no harm or foul to them. Everybody got their way they want to do shit. But if you have opportunities of getting the very best player in the fucking draft at any time, no matter what fucking draft position you are bettering your team. And I've watched a lot of positives that Tom Telesco has done in building this team, you know, through all the trials and travails that he's experiencing, you know, because I know he's got to be dealing with a lot of trepidation coming out of San Diego, what's called L.A., and the fucking Chargers and them motherfuckers, you know, because I felt like he was hamstrung over there. Yeah. But now he's in this position where he's one of the few that actually has a plan, that actually has an idea. And you know, to have Coach AP tied to a situation like that with no fucking quarterback, you know, your fucking franchise running back is not paid. Now, I know that falls on Tom Telesco, but that's the analytics of the game. You know, there's going to be some wheats and tears, some positives and negatives. But I'm just hoping that there's a legitimate and a solid plan. And as a Raider fan.
Like I was saying, in the draft, I believe in Tom Telesco because right here, this stat, I mean, this up here right here, where did the Raiders for the last fucking 20 years, you want to say maybe 15 to 20 years, where did we struggle in the draft? The early rounds. We were great at drafting whoever we had. We were always great at getting people in the later rounds, but the first 3 rounds, we struggled. We'd overreach. We do all this other shit. Then you got Telesco who came in, didn't panic like the fucking Falcons did with Penix. They didn't do this. He let the draft come to him, drafted the best player available, Brock Bowers, who I know there was a lot of people who were upset about that draft pick. What the fuck? Why do we need this? Do all that. But now you're seeing this, and everybody's on the Brock Bowers train. Let him break this last record. I mean, he broke a 63-year-old record. A 63-year-old record. And yeah, he made that record his bitch. And he still got one more game to add to it. You know?
And it ain't over yet.
Look, the first tight end ever to go over 1,100 yards as a rookie.
Let's go. Shout out Brock Bowers, man.
And after this game, it's probably going to be 1,200 yards.
And we got a history, a lineage of true bona fide raw dog tight ends. And so to be doing something that no tight end has ever done before in history in an organization like this, King, I will be really, really proud of this. Oh. And you know, it's not getting enough attention, in my opinion, because there's not enough true Raider fans with real sponsorship to be able to get information out, because nobody's going to have all these mamby-pamby motherfuckers thrown down their damn throats. It's not fucking Raider Nation. It don't fit, and that's why nobody's following that bullshit.
Brock Bowers, hands down, is Offensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Hands down.
But he won't get it because Jaden Daniels. He won't get it because of quarterback and Jaden Daniels.
And the fact that he's on the Raiders.
Yeah, the record,
You know, all this other shit that he's done, all these records he's broke, everything going. And I'm not knocking Jaden Daniels. You know, he deserves to be in the conversation. But hands down, it's Brock Bowers. We all know it.
Yeah.
But he's not
Yeah, I love that. And you might actually be
on.
onto something that too, because like, everybody quick to write us off as conspiracy theorists and shit like that. But there's a lot of weight to what you're saying behind Brock Bowers being a fucking Raider and not being able to get that true consideration because of that circumstance. And you hate to admit it. As a person, I don't want to be able to jive with that, but it's shit. There's just a lot of truth in the fact that as Raiders, you get fucked. And there's a reason and rhyme behind why a lot of our guys ain't in the fucking Hall of Fame, and a lot of truly historical fucking monument things are being kind of like the Sanders beat. They're being poo-pooed because it's the fucking Raiders. Whether it's a personal vendetta against King Al, God rest his soul, and they just hate our fucking colors. I really still think it's just based off the fact that they can't control our fan base. And I think that it kind of bleeds into what my pet peeve is with these new national media moguls, because they're trying to find their step and fetch it to come before us Raider fans and say, okay, well, we'll accept this guy, but we still don't accept you. But here, you go talk that Raider Nation shit to him. And that's why the national media that's being portrayed of the black hole and the Raider Nation shit is really falling on deaf ears, because real Raider Nation, real Raider fans don't like exploitation. It's naturally make your fucking balls itch. But, sorry to the ladies. We know y'all balls don't itch as bad as ours, but, we understand that your tits get sweaty. You can put this shit any way you want to, but when you got itching power in your fucking jock strap, it's hard to play a good, solid game. And they're trying to put this whole, thing on a spectacle because they just want numbers. But what they're losing in the numbers are the people.
Well,
and that's what I'm hoping.
Numbers. Brock Bowers has the numbers.
That's what I'm saying. But see, Brock, the people.
Numbers. It's going to come down to the fact Jaden Daniels, one, was a higher pick, even though Brock Bowers, when it comes to draft, what the hell is it? The overall percentage when it came down to a player where he should be in the draft, even though Brock Bowers was higher than Jaden Daniels in the draft, he was 2 or 3. He gets picked at 13. Jaden gets picked second. Jaden's a quarterback going to a team that, going to a team that, yes, was down like we were and everything. Now it's got the spotlight because they're a playoff contender. But then you got Brock Bowers, who has the numbers. I'm sorry. You want to talk about numbers? I think Brock Bowers' numbers are better than Jaden Daniels could be as a quarterback. Jaden Daniels, isn't even the best quarterback in the league right now.
It's because he's a quarterback. It's not to diminish it, but it's because he's a quarterback. They put so much shit into that, and that's why they justify them fucking salaries. So that's why they're going to do that. That's another fella with the Raider thing, but that's the legitimizer of why they're doing that.
Well, it's the draft pick. It's also the draft pick where they were drafted.
Yeah.
You expect out of the second overall pick. I expect Jaden Daniels to play. He's playing. You would pick second, but to be 13 and destroy. I mean.
On one of the worst teams in the fucking league.
Yes, exactly. On a team with 3 different quarterbacks, not getting any national attention because we saw.
How many offensive coordinators this kid had already?
Exactly. All this, but it's going to come down to, and I hate saying it. Yeah, he's a Raider. It's all. It's a draft pick. It's this. It's that. It's position. But it needs to go just like you were talking about, even with the Hall of Fame. You got people like Jim Plunkett, who's not in the Hall of Fame. He's a two-time Super Bowl winning quarterback. And you got quarterbacks who are only won a single Super Bowl or haven't won any that are in before him. And you go off of numbers alone. I don't care.
Their team won the Super Bowl despite them sorry motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, and I was going to say going to what you said. Sorry, I was going to say going to what you said, Asylum. Jim Plunkett's the only eligible Hall of Famer who has multiple Super Bowl victories. Everybody else who's won Super Bowls, who are eligible for whatever, they're all in. And then Eli Manning might go in before Jim Plunkett goes in. So,
just because he beat Tom Brady twice.
Yeah. So, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. I just want to throw that in there because that was one thing that Jim Plunkett being won 2 Super Bowls. He's the only eligible quarterback who's won 2 Super Bowls who was not in the Hall of Fame. So.
Well, I'll say this as far as stating the times. We're talking about generations and gaps. I'll be the one to point out that at least it's not the same old fucking bullshit that is normally. Well, yeah, it's a silver and black, but at least it's not that bullshit ass racial issue. Because in the case where, like with the Brock Bowers, and especially with those statistics, legitimized statistics in a fucked up situation, through everything that kid is doing, his achievements through, to not being considered as the rookie player of the year, but Jaden Daniels is. And it's primarily because he's a quarterback. Okay, it's the media market because of his DC and all the rest of that shit. They need that organization to get back up there because the league is better when that team is good, just like us. All that kind of shit. There's a lot of historical factors to it. But when it comes down to the bare bones, too many Raiders are being fucked over just because they're Raiders.
Yep.
And we're watching these superstars come over from other teams, and they get that Raider effect, and they admit that shit. That's probably why Devontae punk ass left. I don't even want to start talking shit about him because I ain't mad at him. I don't mean to call him punk ass. That wasn't for like a knock. I'm just saying, for a man to make a decision.
With that, to me, I don't have a problem with a business decision that Devontae tried to make. It was the timing he had. It's the timing he had. He could have done it in the off season, and I'd have been okay with it.
But you know what? I think that's another great conversation. That might be a whole nother fucking great podcast topic in itself. The why, the mystery. Sav, you can dig up some of that fucking that mysterious music and shit. Why did Devontae want to really? Why did he really want to leave?
We have to play the conspiracy thing, but we have the music.
Yeah. I think he got duped. I think he got duped just like they was lying to us Raider fans about what they expect, and this is the plan, and this is what we're going to do with all this shit.
And I don't disagree with that, but why couldn't he do it in the offseason when he knew he wanted to leave then?
I don't think he really wanted to leave then. I think that shit, I think he was almost one of those, he woke up one day like, you know what? I can't do shit about this. It's time to pull the fucking cord and get off of this bus. I can't speak for him, and I don't want to, but I'm saying for everything that man invested, a man of the people, leader of the team, in the fucking community, come from that area, finally around his fucking people, meaning his family, all the shit that he wanted. He finally got what he wanted, but then he walked into the room, and behind closed door, the shit that we as Raider Nation can't see, he like, oh, these motherfuckers got rats, roaches, and bed bugs. And he tried to live in that shit. And he did his best. Look at me as an exterminator. I can paint a scenario for you, right? The house might be beautiful on the outside, but if you don't have proper exclusion, your ass might be experiencing some detrimental rodent activity. Might be a lot of rats around you, you know what I mean? And so what I'm saying is maybe, just perhaps, that man was doing, and I'm going to put RaiderMan on it. Like RaiderMan, living in the fucking boil of being a true Raider fan and coming up through Raider Nation and helping to build all this shit. And you know what truths are. You know what the fucking winning situation is. You know what it's like when your team is humming. You know what it's like when it's camaraderie in the fucking fan base and all the tailgates is right and all the shit is going at a clip. And that shit sells. But there's marketing. There's a fucking political fucking battle that's going on right in front of you, and it's over your pay grade. You don't control it. They tell you, oh, we value your opinion. We care what you think. We're going to bring you in. We're going to ask you some questions. But you don't ever get to make no fucking decisions. And so every decision that's made is rolling you into shit that's not comfortable. And it's becoming increasingly uncomfortable. And it started to leak out of some of these podcasts, so we leaked back to the media thing, but it wasn't like he wasn't saying it. People want to vilify him for what he was telling as his truths and his time on the microphone, but people are not listening to the person and what that heart is saying and what he's really living through. What you got is you got these micromanaging, pseudo wannabe NFL owners because you wearing the colors that they affiliate to, and your shit's supposed to line up to what they say. And if you don't, your ass is in first in line for cancel culture. And I believe he got sick of that shit and like, you know what? I don't give a shit. I'm pulling the cord. I'm getting off of this bus. And it's just challenging for me to be like overly upset about that. I'm not happy or sad about it. It's more unfortunate than anything. But as sad as it is, what's more sad is the fact that no real Raider fans are questioning the why. They only care about their numbers. They only care about being seen. They only care about having some eccentricity-ass fucking opinions floating around, and nobody as a fan base is pulling all this shit back together to say, you know what? When Raider Nation was built, this team was sorry as fuck. Ironically enough, we were 4-12. You know, and we were perennially 4-12.
Yeah.
We were always sorry. This shit didn't come from, oh, look at we winning all this shit. Now you got these pseudo wannabe fucker micromanager fantasy football owners that's paying these absorbent amount of fucking fantasy, what they call it, season ticket prices and PSLs and paying for all that shit at the stadium. And look at me because I'm supposed to be the one. And you got these non-fucking Raider fans that's looking to hold on to their little clout. And, oh, I've been doing this long, and look at me, and I'm, miss this, but nothing is germane to real Raider Nation. So you got a whole new generation of Raider fans that's being spawned within Raider Nation. And they're the loudest motherfuckers. They're the one that's talking all this shit. And it means nothing. And that's why it don't matter if the team grow or not. We just go, all right, what they want. We're gonna tap in what they talking about on the Twitters or the X's and what they saying. Okay, well let's tap into that and maybe this will make them happy. King Al didn't give a fuck about making us happy. King Al made a fuck about us giving their team hell. And everybody that's with me, motherfucker, ride.
Yeah.
It was a different time.
You don't have that up anymore, do you? You took it off a while ago.
Which one?
It was different fucking time. And these kids, I can't really call them kids because these kids have kids. And they doing their best to raise their kids up in Raider Nation. And they like, well, damn, daddy, you bought me this new jersey. This motherfucker not even on the team no more. Damn, daddy, our team don't never fucking win. Oh, they never won when I was a fucking kid either. And how do you justify this shit? How do you explain this shit? Especially if you got common sense. And all you doing is just barking out to the rationale, hey, how come my team don't do this? And you get on the air that's supposed to be for fucking Raider fans, and you express your opinion, where Raider Nation, just like the Raider Oath say, free speech and liberty actually exists. And you get some non-fucking Raider fan telling you what you can and can't say, how you gonna say it, what you need to believe. Oh, no, I know more than you because I have sources. Oh, look at me and all of my, you know what I'm saying? I know more than you because I'm with the fucking team. Man, it's all media. It's all fucking marketing ploy. And as soon as that Raider Nation, as soon as the real fucking black holes stand up and stop going with this shit, it's not like fucking sponsorship is going to stop following the baddest fucking fan base on the fucking planet. But you got these motherfuckers that want to be in bed so bad that they'll sacrifice the lamb.
Yeah,
I'm getting off of this shit. All I'm saying is all this shit used to be about family. It used to be about the people. About for the fans, by the fans. We borrowed that shit from the fucking Black National Movement, because it was for the people, by the people. But that's the grassroots that they come from. It's still blue collar. It's still real Raider Nation. It's still grassroots. We still human beings. And by grace of God, I get to claim this one too. We still fucking alive.
Yeah.
And once we lose that fucking premise of First Amendment, where we speak our fucking minds and we stand on what the fuck we speaking about, this whole shit is gonna be lost. And all these mamby-pamby faking it ass Raider fan motherfuckers is gonna be the new generation. That's what the generation is looking forward to. And that makes I think that'll make Al Davis turn over in his fucking grave.
And that's why we do what we do to, remember the mystique, but also you can have an opinion and we're not going to attack you for how you feel, because you might see, we might see it one way and another person might see it another way. And at the end of the day, at the end of the day, we're just starving for a winning football team, an organization that can sustain a success like the other teams have done, like the Patriots have done for the 20 years.
I'm sorry, there ain't no cussing on this fucking line, man.
And I don't want to use that as an example because I know we have infiltration with Tom Brady, a 5% owner.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're part of the team now.
You know, and it's
Wait, I gotta.
you know, it's at the end of the day, all of us, we just want to win. We want to be alive to see a Raider team lift up the trophy at the end of the season. And that's what we're all trying to do. And everyone is, you know, you need to lose to win now. No, just win so you don't have that losing culture carried to the next year. And our problem really has been inconsistency, changing coaches because, these are dark times. We need a new guy.
But you know what? I want to say this while you say that, because you're absolutely right there. And there's a hell of a chasm that need look at RaiderMan with all the SAT words tonight. RaiderMan. Woo. But look, you know, all right, I said already, bad teams don't need to tank. A team that's going to lose is going to lose. Bad teams lose close games. Good teams find a way to win close games. None of that shit will ever change one way or the other. The business aspect will always be the silver lining and undercurrent of that fact. So when you look back at history, you can't discount the true premise of the Spurs, you know, tanking for fucking Tim Duncan. Now, that was a tank. You know, there's a lot of real examples of teams that's outright, I'm getting out of the winning business in order to get into the winning business. And that's been a historical fact for the duration of sports. That's why these sports are more business than they are our sports now. That's taking over. This started when with the inference of free agency. Before that, you were just a team, and you motherfuckers might die. You know, somebody get that career-ending injury or whatever. You know, that team only broke up because something catastrophic happened. Now everything is hitman for hire, mercenaries on the loose, kind of biggest contract wins. You know, quarterback controversy and politics and shit like that. That's what this whole business model is based on. And then you add in the fact that you got jersey sales and shit like that tied to it. Fantasy football, gambling, legalized gambling, legalized marijuana and NFL, you know, and people with businesses. Because that kind of shit ain't even being looked at. People don't really know where all these fucking rat holes go. Here go the exterminator again. But once you see one hill and a rat in the hillside, that means you have a rat problem. Because you don't know where the motherfuckers at.
Yeah.
And you gotta get the right shit out there to prevent that shit creeping in. Exclusion is the only thing. And once you start letting your business get so big that you can let non-Raider fans run Raider fan shit, you know, where the masses are speaking to Raider Nation, you know, like they're the kid, but they're really the fucking business model. There is no fucking Raider Nation radio without Raider Nation. There is none of this shit without the black hole, because nobody gave a fuck about what the fans were doing. We did something different. We did something special. And to have that shit taken away from us to be given to people that look like, oh, well, we accept you. Same as the fucking Hall of Fame shit you was talking about, Asylum. We accept you because you're not a Raider. We need to get spread it around. We need to get some more people. No, all them motherfuckers was great. They all deserve to be in there. Get the next batch of great motherfuckers. But don't exclude these. Shit, you know, we love Howie Long. There'll never be no shit on Howie Long. But how the fuck Howie Long in there decades before Greg Townsend, and Greg Townsend not even being sniffed?
Yeah.
It's shit that can't even be talked about when it's on Raider level. But we got these mamby-pamby non-fucking Raider fans that we got to go through because they the only motherfuckers with a microphone. Because the sponsorships follow them. Because they're the safe motherfuckers. That's exploitation. That shit came past. That's why your show is so fucking important, and I call it a Raider national treasure.
Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah, and you know
Shouts out cage match.
that's why I need to give me a bottle.
Yeah, I'm strapped, bro. It's my birthday. Hey, I had a neighbor that came out with full love. He said happy
Well,
birthday before he said happy new year. Happy new year came first.
well,
They've been
that's
fighting
why.
about these calendars since the Roman days, you know.
But that's why a lot of former players say they wish it was players voting in players into the Hall of Fame because they're the ones that had to deal with the players that were, you know, not writers. And that was one thing. Like when Ken Stabler, when he kept getting, you know, they kept overlooking him,
Shunning him.
And then when he finally passed, well, I don't want to say finally, but then when he eventually passed away, I'm kind of like talking like in the writers. Oh, now he's finally okay. Now let's put him in.
Oh, it was a travesty we didn't do that 10 years ago.
Well, they were saying
assholes.
Go ahead, Simon.
Where you? I know where you're going with this. It goes. Sometimes players don't have the stats that people think needs to go in. But again, how many you got players who played with or against? We'll use Ken Stabler on this one. You had players who said when it came down to winning the game in the fourth quarter, they wanted nobody else but Ken Stabler. Then you had players say we did not want to. The one person we did not want to go up against with 2 minutes left to win a game was Ken Stabler. Those are the ones who deserve, like you're saying, to make that thing. Just because he didn't have maybe the numbers that, per se, another quarterback had because, just the way it worked out and going, because they didn't have to play the goddamn Steelers as often as we did. So
Yeah.
Take the Lord's name in vain.
All that. No, but I agree with you on that. It should be maybe players or somebody else and keep the people who are just, keyboards, typewriters back in the day, whatever it was, writing all these stories, the ones that get to make the decision on who deserves to come in or doesn't come in, and they go off of numbers, stats. Again, we could go numbers. Jim Plunkett has 2 Super Bowl wins. Why isn't he in? Because the rest of his stats, other than the Super Bowl wins, don't add up. But yet, during that time when he was with the Raiders, that was what made Jim Plunkett in his career.
Let me start another argument. Derek Carr got over 40,000 yards.
He'll probably go into the Raider Ring of Honor or something.
He'll be in the fucking Super Bowl before Stabler. No. Thankfully, that can't be true. But my point about it is the generations have changed so much. And all of that analytics bullshit is taken over because they're selling statistics. And that's why all that shit fall on deaf ears to me because, you go back to like your whole argument about numbers. The only real number that fucking count is wins.
Yeah.
If you were the quarterback, like say for instance Plunkett got 2 fucking bowls. If Plunkett won the Super Bowl with only 350 yards passing, wouldn't that be a hell of a lot more significant statistic than, he had 150,000 million trillion yards and he only won a Super Bowl, but now he deserves to be in there because he finally won the Super Bowl. So it took the Super Bowl put him in the fucking Hall of Fame, but then afterward the yardage was supposed to legitimize him. But then they gauging him on the yardage to give him consideration for even considered for the Hall of Fame. So which one is it?
You know what's contradicting to the Super Bowl argument? Dan Fouts.
Right, see? Because there's anomalies in there. Yeah. There's anomalies that show you that statistical bullshit don't matter. They pick who the fuck they want to pick. And just going back to Asylum's point, I'm doing it wrong, Florence Henderson. To Asylum's point, they're not getting in because they fucking Raiders. Yeah. And what's bad about the sickening part, or the part that really makes me nauseous is our players are being called upon posthumously now because they've been playing this game for so fucking long. And the people that started this game are dead. So where is this shit coming from? What is it really about? Real Raider fans would ask these questions. That's why real Raider Nation radio would sound more like what we're doing. But the shit that's safe, the shit that they'll sponsor, the shit that they're pushing is the shit that they want to brainwash our next generation of Raider Nation with. I'm telling you, these are the things that make you motherfuckers invaluable. The fact that y'all don't even miss a show. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it take literally death or dismemberment to get motherfuckers off this podcast. I hate that I can't be a better staple. I should be a better example rocking the name RaiderMan to be standing up with what you motherfuckers is doing with keeping the thing germane to the main vein with real Raider Nation. I'm telling you, this shit is outstanding. It's real conversations that need to be had, and the next generation of Raider Nation deserves much better.
Yeah, because if you listen to all if you listen to a lot of like the I want to say the mainstream podcasts, but those who are on that next tier, I guess you could say from us, a lot of history doesn't really get brought up, and that's one thing. Like we try to base a lot on history, and I know it's a different NFL back then than it is now, and like you said, business decisions, and it's run more corporate like and all that whatever. But you know, like you said, like with Al Davis. Al Davis was a football coach, a football mind. He wasn't a business owner or a guy who purchased a team and then had someone run it. He was that guy. Now Mark Davis is the other side. He's the business, got the new stadium and got whatever.
Mark Davis is his son.
Yeah, Mark Davis, he got everything, but he's not the football. He's not the football guy that his father Al Davis is or was. But so now that's where us fans we're trying to figure out where he's going, because we know how Al Davis will run the team. If you don't win and I don't believe in you, you're gone. I don't care if you're one season in or whatever. If he doesn't believe in you, he'll fire you. And Mark Davis, I know he's trying not to go into that trend like Al Davis did in his last 10 years, but he's also listening to random guys you should go hire McDaniels. Oh yeah, look what they did. Okay. Oh, you should go hire, so and so. Oh, okay. Now we're all hearing, well, Tom Brady's in the building now, and Tom Brady, 6 out of 10 Super Bowls, or what? 6 out of 9, 6 out of 9, or 7 out of 10. Yeah. 7 out of 10.
Yeah, he lost 3.
Yeah. 7 out of 10 Super Bowls, and he's done this and he's done that. He knows all about winning. So he's gonna have a big say so on what happens in the future. And that's what we're tired of all these.
I'm gonna take his argument on that one. What does he know about fucking building a team?
Yeah, like you were part of a team.
But what does he know about building a team?
Yeah.
Who we talking about, Mark or Tom?
We're talking about Mark having his BFF Tom, not Telesco, but Brady.
Hey,
speaking of Florence Henderson, the Brady bunch up there.
I gotta say this, because as a Raider fan, and I'll put me on it. As Raider man, I got free speech. Well, I'm gonna say what the fuck I feel. It's time for Mark. In my mind's eye, Mark has to legitimize Mark. He don't get just a pass because he's the fucking Raiders owner and he's Al Davis' son and all the rest of that shit. Mark Davis has been an owner long enough. He's been in line long enough, even through the time where he didn't want to have shit to do with this. He's had enough time to grow through that feeling and know where he is as an individual. That individual, whoever it is, need to know what direction he wants his team to fucking be.
Yeah.
Because to be the owner, you are the fucking identity of the team. Because as the owner, you hired a coach. That's why he was, and I give him a credit there. He was smart enough to hire AP, hired him over fucking Patrick Graham and a whole other cast of characters that were a hell of a lot more qualified.
Jim Harbaugh.
But in his germane fashion, in true life, I believe that the true Raider in Mark Davis, positive or negative, said that's the real Raider. AP's the real one. Raider Nation won't accept the other ones. Now, that's a good thing. I can give you credit for that. But is that really enough? Because at a certain point, especially now that you got somebody like a Tom Brady in the building, a part owner, and you're selling off so many shares. I was listening to something where they were saying you got to have at least 32% to still be the legitimate owner. And I think he's cut his shit right to the fucking mean. After you bought your other teams and you doing all your other shit. So as a Raider fan, you're making me question what's your real dedication to what we're doing here.
Yeah.
The why we're here is providing you the means to do all that shit. But all you're doing is all that other shit. What about the shit that got you here?
Yeah.
That's what that makes me say. And so everybody quick to go past that and just go off, oh, Mark Davis is love. Look at all what Mark did. That's them pundits. That's the motherfuckers on these radio stations that he's hiring to give out good PR and make him be the good guy. I'm not looking to vilify you, so you don't need to protect yourself from me. I'm not after you one way or another. I'm looking for what can I root about because I'm a fucking Raider fan. I'm trying my best to support you. What are you doing to fucking encourage me? If you don't even give a shit about the direction of your team, all you give a shit about is who's talking about you, how they're talking about you, why they're talking about you. You never have a fucking thing to say. As I guess I got to ride OG. As a long-time Raider fan, a 52-year-old motherfucker, you got to give me a little bit more than that to go on. You might be able to sell some of these young teeny boppers that don't really give a shit about Raider Nation. They're just trying to build a platform so they can have their business model foundation and do all their little shit so they can work their trust fund money. But for the motherfucker that's been in this shit from ground zero, that's looking to build a platform that we have a respectable base to have as Raider fans to be able to speak to each other and talk to each other. You got motherfuckers that's not even Raider fans talking, I'm going to be your Raider therapist. You're going to come to me. You need me. I'm who you need to be listening to. Like, where these motherfucking people come from? And that's what it took for us to have a national platform, because the motherfucker that created the platform ain't good enough. And so you got a whole nother generation that's swallowing the pills of a generation that was put in there, force-fed, not even fucking blue blood, not even of the DNA. You being sold a fucking dream. It's a fucking farce. And then they're going to turn around and tell you that they want to win with somebody that don't even know what the fuck you even want. You gotta hit me in a different spot. You know what I'm saying? I can only play stupid for so long.
Yeah, and that's not trying to, I guess, we're not here trying to bash Mark Davis, but he is the common denominator.
Yes.
Within the last 11, 12 years, or since Al Davis passed in 2011, he's been the common denominator. In 2011, we had Hugh Jackson, kind of like in the same, I don't want to say the same situation. Hugh Jackson was an offensive coordinator, then he became a head coach, so he was running his unit on the offense, but it was also said it's his first time being a head coach. You're not good at game management and you know too many delay games because you're trying to get plays in, not realizing the play clock and whatever. But you don't give him a second year to review what he did, see what he did right, see what he needs to work on, and then go from there.
You give him a chance to learn.
Yeah.
But wait, one quick question though. With the critiques about Hugh Jackson, were any of those critiques Mark Davis critiques, or were those coming out of the media from somebody else? And Mark Davis just grabbed onto it and said, well, fuck it, I'm just not supporting the guy. Because he couldn't say one way or the other. He didn't know.
Well, and that's the thing, because the next year, so now he took over. Davis had passed in the beginning of that season. I think that was like week 4? It was October, so like week 5, whatever, week 6, early in the early half of the or the first half of the season. So now Mark Davis took over. So now going into the next year, because that season it wasn't the offense, it was the defense. Chuck Bresnahan in the second stint wasn't getting it done, and I know he was there for the Super Bowl when Chuck Bresnahan was a defensive coordinator for the Raiders in the 2002 Super Bowl, but he wasn't getting it done in the second stint back. So we all thought, okay, they're gonna come in next year and they're gonna have a new defensive coordinator. All they gotta do, and it's the same thing we kept saying with Derek Carr, we just need a defense and we'll go from there. No, so they fired Hugh Jackson because McKenzie came in, the general manager, and McKenzie said, I'm gonna bring my own guy. who was another unproven head coach who has been fired again just a few weeks back with the Saints, you know.
But see, you proving my point in my mind's eye, because my question is, in that transitional, like what you just described, what you just outlined was a highly emotional time. It was a transitional time because you had not only the death of Al Davis, but you had the symbiotic growth of Mark Davis being pulled up the rankings by John Madden and Ron Wolf, not of his own volition. He wasn't knocking at Al Davis' door like, hey, Pop, when you going to let me drive the Ferrari? He didn't give a fuck about the Raiders like that.
Yeah.
He gave a fuck about being Al Davis' son, and that's where the shit ended. Now, to take it a step further and become not only the owner of the team by proxy or lineage, but also go from being in the doldrums of financial destitution in the NFL to being one of the top money earners of the league, of the organization in itself. And that was going to happen because the Raiders in itself, Al Davis had built what's in essence like one of them old rising pimples. You know, you can see it's swollen, you can see a little bit of head on it, but ain't until you squeeze that motherfucker until you find out just how much shit is in there. And sorry about that, I had to do that. But that's just the truth. And there was so much shit inside of Raider Nation and so much shit inside of what's truly Raiders that they wasn't going to let Mark Davis walk away from that because there's too much money being left at the fucking table. So when you force somebody into something that they don't necessarily want, how much passion are you really expecting to get out of them?
Yeah.
That's what I've always questioned. It's never a knock on Mark Davis. I believe I have a right as a human being to ask that question. Because when you walking into that door and the very first thing I watch you do as the owner, the new owner of my football team, when you never had really anything to do with this shit, but then I watch you go build a fucking championship female basketball team.
Yeah.
And our football team is getting progressively worse with the worst instability that's being exhibited in the NFL in decades. So you got rookie quarterbacks with 3 fucking offensive coordinators and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like shit that's unprecedented for this fucking business. And I need to see a business acumen because now this thing has grown from you just being this fledgling young coach. And Mark Davis didn't know what the fuck he was doing. And Mark Davis is Al Davis' son. You know, people talking shit about his hair, like he don't have a right to wear his own fucking hairstyles. All this shit. After all this time, you got to be your own fucking person. I want to see who you are now. I want to see how you do shit now. Because Tom Brady got a plan. He might not know how to build a team. He ain't never did that shit before, but he's been around a lot of motherfuckers building teams. And he has been that coal in the middle of the fire of the team that they built. So, you know, like regardless of inexperience and ignorance per se, he does have a tie. And he does have influences, and he has a hell of a lot of connections. And I don't believe that Mark Davis has the same gravitas in the NFL football world because people been spending decades laughing at that man. They've been spending decades kissing Tom Brady ass.
Yeah.
And when this shit all started, everybody was asking, is Mark Davis going to keep the team? Mark Davis should sell the team. All this old bullshit. I'm rooting for Mark Davis. I'm like, motherfucker, stand up. Stand up for yourself. Tell these motherfuckers that you ain't the sucker they think you are, man. But I watched him kind of take the backseat, and that's all I can do because I'm just a fucking fan. But then when you all of a sudden got media monsters that's coming in and pushing your fans out and starting all of a sudden so-called be your voice, now you the big motherfucker on the totem pole and all your people is the little shit, you alienating yourself. It wasn't like motherfucker ain't chasing you down. It wasn't like motherfucker wasn't in your face. Came out my way to come and try to make sure your shit go. Motherfucker ain't never did shit for me. And you start losing those people. That's what your next generation is going to have, along with all this multimedia bullshit that you selling. Mamby-pamby. That's going to change Raider Nation. That's what RaiderMan is all about.
Yeah, and that's why, like, us, you know, going into the end of the year, a lot of questions on what's the direction of this team? Are we going to go through another regime change again? Are we going to get rid of AP? Or AP don't have that much experience. You see the players are still playing hard for them. And I know some folks feel like, well, that's not enough. They're not winning. Yeah, but they also have all these guys on the injury reserve. Yeah,
I was just going to say that. There's a whole lot of other factors that are in there that people are not talking about when it comes to AP. It's just AP is not the man. He can't do this. He can't do that. O'Connell's not the guy. He can't do this. He can't do that. But yet neither one has been given the chance. Let's just say this year, because AP with all the injuries, like you said, injury reserve, injuries. Yes, he made decisions.
We'll quarterback.
With the Luke Getsy, right? He made the decision when him, Telesco, and Getsy were in there on which quarterback they're going to go with. Maybe he got outvoted. Like RaiderMan was saying earlier, we know what happened behind the doors. We don't know who made the decision when it came to Minshew. But, with everything going, and we've all said, we said at the beginning of the season, we said, we said it even with, who the fuck were we just, we're just Hugh Jackson. You got to give the man a chance to learn what he doesn't know and what he does know and what he needs to get going on in this shit. Firing him this year, not giving him another chance to build a team because this is still half of fucking Josh McDaniels' team.
Yeah.
So, with that going, he hasn't had a chance to fully bring in the culture. But again, we've seen it game in and game out in these last two games with these wins that everyone's pissed off about. He has that team playing so fucking hard. They were 2-12, and most 2-12 teams, you see people give up. You see, business decisions, as what was said earlier in the season with AP. Business decisions get made. You're not seeing it with the Raiders, and some people saying it's not enough. Yes, that's their opinion, and they're welcome to it. But to me, it shows you a lot more than not. I think it is enough because they're not taking into factors. They're not taking all the factors into, in and making a decision. They're just going off of what they want to see to make their narrative, to fit their narrative, and try to make their argument right and change your mind.
Yeah. I agree with that, and I double down. I'm a backfade Joe bet because on top of all that, he doing this shit without an established franchise quarterback from inception, doing this shit and like the way that this team or this organization has been moving for decades, and you're thrust in a position like literally coming up from fledgling college coach or wherever he was doing, high school, wherever, but you just out there just trying to be a coach. You doing love of the game shit as a former MVP NFL caliber player. And that fire attracts motherfuckers to you in a way that makes, you eligible. You all of a sudden, I call it God called, so I don't know whether to say it, but God called you for this position. I don't have it in me to hate on somebody that's called to a place, to be given an opportunity and never supported in that endeavor, to be given something and never given the tools. Like you get hired to do a construction job. Like I'm going to hire you to do my fucking roof, but you can't have no money until after you complete the roof. Well, how am I going to get the fucking materials? How do I get the shit that I need to even be able to do the fucking roof?
Yeah.
And AP never even had that. He didn't have anything, but what he had was the fire to walk into a burning building and say, you know what? I just love this shit because I was a fan of it. They exploited the man for that fact. He shared a truth about himself. I liked the team when I was a kid. I wore the starter jackets, all that shit, whatever. And they took that shit and exploited that man. Oh, he's straight out of Compton and all that old stereotypical bullshit. All these white cats on the fucking radio all of a sudden got to sound cool because they not Raider fans, but they put this position where they got to talk about Raider fans shit. And they don't know how to do it, so it come off weird. And you got to go along with it because they the only motherfucker that's going to get it because they're the sponsored person. That's what Raider Nation is being shoved. That's what the next generation is listening to and being force-fed, and they're too smart for it, and they don't accept it. All of the fucking Raider fans that have grown up in our era, shit, all this new technology to us, it ain't hard to tune this shit out.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing this shit already. I'm not sitting around listening to some motherfucker talking shit and whatever and liking and loving and reposting and sucking this motherfucker balls all damn day. I was living my life. I got real shit going on. You know what I'm saying? I got a granddaughter now. I got all kind of shit. Zato ain't even down here with me. Zato will be 1 on January 19th. Shit. You know, it's like real life happening. These motherfuckers live in this world where it's just them and they fucking show, and like, you gotta support me. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? Look at the life I'm living. But the people that you talking to can't even afford to do what the fuck you talking about. This was our passion.
Yeah.
I'm living in the fucking Bay Area. All of my teams have been taken from me. And you got motherfucking in some other market because they need the sponsorship, they need the support. I need to be contributing to their shit. With a platform like this, don't get no respect at all. But you was actually there. Sav, you actually putting fucking gas in the generators that's powering the amps that RaiderMan is talking to fucking Raider Oath on. And the motherfucker that he did the Raider Oath for don't even acknowledge him on the fucking radio. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what's happening in the fucking Raider Nation. And don't nobody want to talk about it because everybody just want to be a part of the fucking team so bad. They want to be a part of the shit so bad. I've come to realize, you know what? I stopped inviting myself to shit that I wasn't invited to. Because I was RaiderMan when the motherfuckers met me, and I'm going to be RaiderMan when they go. It don't make me no fucking difference no more. But if it ain't going to be real, it ain't going to be me.
I like to compare it to, you ever seen the movie Casino with Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci?
Oh, yeah.
You know how you had Robert De Niro. You know he was the in charge of the casino. Yeah, you know he knew everything. You know he knew how to run everything, whatever. And then when he brought in Joe Pesci came in, and Joe Pesci, you know, he was gonna kind of teach him the ways. Then Joe Pesci got into some stuff. Mm-hmm. Now Joe Pesci, and then he got all whatever, you know, and then Joe Pesci kind of like messed it all up, and now they're fighting each other. And then at the end of the movie, when and it's an old movie, so if you haven't seen it, it's gonna be a spoiler right now. But spoiler at the end of the movie, you know, Robert De Niro.
It's a long ass movie too.
Yeah. Robert De Niro, who basically he was trying to introduce him into the situation. Into the business. Now, because of whatever he did, Joe Pesci did. You know, now Joe Pesci's in a dirt hole. You know, his character's in a dirt hole somewhere in the desert. But then you got Robert De Niro just trying to get into his car. They messed up the bomb where you're supposed to place it, so he was able to survive the explosion. And then at the end of the movie, you see him, he just lives, you know, watches TV, and he still does his numbers, you know, with the big old man glasses, and he's just like, hey, I'm just doing what I used to do before I was up there, before I was, you know, up there. And then like me in Asylum, we're like those Raider fans in that movie where Joe Pesci, why you on TV for? Because I need a platform so I know what I'm talking about. You could have had the sandwich shop. Why are you going to go on TV? Now you're putting heat on us. I ain't putting heat on us. You're the one that's over there doing this and that. I'm not putting heat on us. So we're Robert De Niro just trying to continue what we were building. And then now, you know, we're getting shunned. But hey, I'm going to do this little low budget TV. I'm going to have stars come on and I'm going to interview them. And then in the meantime, between guests, I'm going to say how I feel because I was there, because I'm living it and I lived it. So you might not agree with me. Yeah, you might not agree with me. You might say my story isn't true. How can you tell me my story isn't true? I was there. Were you there? So I say like this is like Casino. And it's funny how Casino, Las Vegas. So it all, you know, this is what I do. I tie all these old movies together, mafia movies and all that, whatever. So that's us. We're Robert De Niro. You know, just we're you know, now we're just, you know, numbers and just still watching the games, and we're just numbers, you know.
You see, y'all gotta come to the fucking vets home to come get RaiderMan out to come talk about this shit. Cause I mean, you know, like it's and I'm gonna go candid, 2 seconds worth, call it 19, but it takes so much energy trying to be something that you're not. You know, I am RaiderMan. I've always been this person. The character in itself or the persona was created just being me. You know what I mean? I can't separate the two, and I never tried to. And, to live so long just being a fan, and all of a sudden you run into, I guess, would-be recognition and all of these different things and all that kind of stuff. I've never, ever prescribed to the whole superstar and all the rest of that kind of shit. I might have a lot of attention, and I'm able to garner that because I'm a nut, and that's just how I'm wired. But I've never done anything trying to get anybody, hey, look at me, look at RaiderMan, all the rest of that kind of shit. So it's really, really challenging for me to chase that. All of a sudden, that's got to be the thing, and this and this and this is what I do. It's not a knock on dedication for me at all. I never stopped being dedicated to being myself, but I'm a unique testimony, and so like there's a natural gravitas to how RaiderMan ended up being, at the pinpoint of like where Raider Nation is spoken on. I would call it the bullhorn of the black hole. There's a reason why RaiderMan was called to that spot. Me, just like I refuse to hate or try to throw shade on the people that end up in the spaces where they are, I refuse to have the jealousy for them that says, hey, how come I'm not in that spot? So if our people prefer those people, then you have who the fuck you prefer. But it's not like I didn't put my energy into trying to be there and try to tell you and try to give you that product and try to give you what's right. If what's better for you is to chase the duff, then you get what you deserve. But in our lives, in Real Raider Nation, in the black hole, what established the black hole, what created that thing that grew and grew and grew in love and passion for each other, was to give a fuck about each other. I could never see my brother down and not give a fuck. I couldn't exploit a brother on his story and what he dealing with or try to diminish his story because I need my story blown up. You got motherfuckers out there trying to promote all kind of stupid ass shit. As if they've ever inspired anybody to do any fucking thing. But you got the people that inspired them to come and want to be a part of your shit. They ain't doing what they were doing where they was at. They got to come and try to take over where you at. And all it's doing is corrupting the fucking product. And I'm really, really praying that Raider Nation get a grip and get their head out of their ass and get to it. So, like we can really get on the main thing. And while I say all that, shouts out to my OG Raider Rob, the original, the motherfucker that created Raider Nation, the originator of that fucking what you call it, the term or whatever the fuck.
Coined the term, yeah.
Coined the term. Thank you. Shouts out to the the BBH stuff. Shouts out to Stoner Dude. Shouts out to Dino Mutt. Happy holidays, man. Happy New Year to everybody that's part of Raider Nation. The originators of fucking Raider Nation. Tim, the Flea, fucking Transistor, Young Dougie Schultz,
water.
Shit. Shouts out Blitz Chick. Shouts out fucking who are originators? Spikes and Howie.
Spikes and Howie.
Shouts out to all the motherfuckers that made this shit. Shouts out to Shieldhead, man. Shouts out to some of our OG cats that's passed on, Skates. Shouts out to the man, Dave Monzo. Raider Day. Look, I ain't even going to our main guys. Of course, shouts out Black Hole Rob, Black Hole Dave Monzo. We got cats that the spirits that built this. It was personalities. The personalities that's talking to you ain't them personalities. And they wasn't there. And now they using us to turn against us to promote them. This is like historical. And it's sad that it's happening to a lowly fan base. You can't even be a fucking fan of a team without some fucking conquistador coming in trying to, no, I shouldn't say that. Let some fucking jackass come in and try to steal your shit. But that's what's happening because it's multimedia. And people will do anything to your ass for these likes and these follows and these sponsorships. And now Raider Nation is being exploited. And there were people on the front line trying to tell you that and not grabbing for their attention. So just, please respect the humanity in those same people who not kicking at the door trying their best. Oh, didn't I tell you, and trying to make some shit of their own. Because we kind of like what Sav said, and we kind of like De Niro. I'm happy to just be in here enjoying my fucking tapioca and realizing that, while y'all out there killing yourself trying to do this shit, that's why I did that shit.
Yeah.
And you can appreciate me while I'm still alive and come on to the rest home and come get me and let me share my story. Or you can keep listening to them fucking assholes and having the shit shoved in your face and be lied to for the rest of your fucking career as a Raider fan. And why it's a whole new generation of motherfucker that's quitting. Raider fans quitting being Raider fans. And gotta announce that. Nobody give a fuck if you quit. Like if you're in a room and you stop talking and nobody miss you talking, that used to be a normal thing. But now you can get online and bitch about, I'm not talking anymore, and sit there and watch and see how many fucking likes and follows and repeats you get. And that's what's building these fucking shows. And Raider fans are going to that shit. And Raider fans, the new wave Raider fan, only gives a shit about like the production quality. So they got sponsorships and they were able to get the nice background and that this and the great commercials and all that shit and this, whatever. And that's why they go to that show, because it's easier. It's microwave.
Well, that's
But
why
a show like this shit is quality. This shit is tough to digest. It's like fiber in your fucking intestines.
I don't
get
say
all
that.
the bullshit out.
I was gonna say, this is Raider Metamucil in the building. Let's go to clear out your colon of all this bad Raider news. Make sure you take 2 scoops of me into your beverage of choice.
Take them straight. Swallow that shit dry. Let it get in there.
Straight cold.
Swallow it dry and take 2 sips of water.
And you know, and that's what drives the 2 sides that we've been divided. And I feel like we've been divided since after the 2016 season, after Derek Carr broke his leg and everything, because we were all, when Derek Carr got drafted in that second round, we were all okay, you know, and the way he looked in that preseason, he took the job his rookie year from Matt Schaub. Then, you know, we were like, okay, we got a quarterback. We got somebody. I don't have my shot glass is empty.
I was giving the black hole some free plug.
The black hole, I was showing the cage match. That's all I was doing.
Yeah, you know, free shameless plug. That's what we all about.
Some shameless plugs. It didn't matter if it was full or not.
Was, you know, what I was going to say is, you know, after, you know, we were right there, Derek Carr MVP candidate, we can go to the Super Bowl, breaks his leg, Christmas Eve, Colts game, okay, whatever. Then when Gruden came in, Gruden ended up trading away Khalil Mack, and I feel like that's where Raider Nation started to split. That's where the foundation cracked. That's when that's
what you call the GOAT. That's the fraternity GOAT that got stole off campus. That's why we live in the curse. Don't nobody want to talk about that shit. That's to me is why we live in the curse.
Yeah, and then from there, you know, it's like, well, we could have had Khalil Mack, but now we have Derek Carr, but it's like, but it's not Derek Carr's fault that we didn't have a defense for most of those years after that 2016.
Let me say it like this. I don't think anybody had this position, but I'm gonna speak my perspective and see if anybody can jive what I'm putting down. That decision earmarked settling for this organization. As great a person as Derek Carr is, he was still a second round draft pick.
Yeah.
You threw out a Tyrannosaurus Rex. You threw out a fucking unicorn for the second round pick. That means that this person has much more value to you, regardless of the inherent value that other person had. See, I'm gonna try to keep it general speaking because it's not tied to anything, but I just want to kind of put the numbers on the paper and see where the mathematics add up. But Khalil Mack was a generational talent that was drafted and showed that he was everything that he was projected to be, and we cut bait before we can even find out who he really was. Now, people will say, oh, it's Gruden said. Let's clarify that. And I'm not taking shots at Gruden, just a quote. But Gruden said, we weren't winning with Khalil Mack. Well, we settled, if you will, or we decided to oust Khalil Mack or mortgage the farm with Khalil Mack and take forward with Derek Carr. We never won with Derek Carr either. So I don't see where that statement really holds a whole lot of inherent value. You know, it's one of those things that was.
Khalil Mack came out and said he did not want to play for John Gruden. That's why he was starting to hold out. He said
and
flat
that's
out,
my whole thing.
he did not want to play for John Gruden. So John Gruden had to take the next step, which was trade him to get value, because he could have let him hold out. His contract would have been over, and then he would have left in free agency.
Right, which was smart to do. Business-wise, you can't knock Gruden for what he did. There's a lot of people, I got friends in that same chat group I mentioned, I won't even put his name on this one, that literally hate Gruden because they swear that Gruden destroyed this team. And in some ways, actually, some of that shit can actually be pinned down because ego was really, really starving. Ego fucked a lot of shit up. But I don't know how much it would depend on Gruden as the person. I'm just conservative with who I actually put blame on when I'm ignorant, when I'm ignorant to facts. But the position that Gruden was in and the shit that was being thrown down, which is why I always hear Mark Davis. What is the tip of the spear trying to do? If there's an organizational direction, if the person, or if King Al was in office when John Gruden got the job, and from what I remember, King Al didn't want his ass because he was coming in with that West Coast system and, you know, and all that shit. What he did like was he was the youngest head coach in prospect. He was the hottest motherfucker, and he came from stock. He came from lineage that was good, and hey, you can't knock a motherfucker hustle. The dude is good. So King Al, in my mind's eye, bit his lip and said, you know what? I'm going against what I believe because I'm going to try to, quote unquote, get with the times. I'm going to concede here. I'm tired of starving Raider Nation. Damn it, we got to win. I'm going to go ahead and fucking pull this cord and bring in this guy. But he didn't like it. He just did it because he did what was best for the organization.
Yeah.
After Al Davis died, God bless it, there was absolutely no head of the organization. Because as much as Mark Davis fell into the position or called up, you know, which is the real truth, much as, you know, John Madden around Wolf shook his ass about that bed and said, damn it, you finna do this shit, that don't make a great fucking head of an organization. Now, if you prolong that with, I don't know what the word for it is, but when somebody don't really take to, you just kind of just there. You know, you spend these years where you just kind of like this lame duck owner. You know, I am the owner. You got to respect me as owner. People are encouraging you. Hey, you the fucking owner. You are the owner. Yay, here come the owner. You can grow through that for a certain amount of time. And that's a great place to be. I've never been privileged to something like that. But if that's what he's lived through or that's what he's living through, God bless it. But this is a time where we are at our right now. And all the different assets and all this shit that's been spent and wasted and all these fucked up ass decisions, it's time for one motherfucker, like them old Nintendos, to push a fucking square ass button and say reset. Hold that motherfucker for a second. Hard start this son of a bitch. Now, this is how we're going to operate. Until we get there, I am forever motherfucking cautious. I take everything with a grain of salt.
And well, I was gonna say, and that's where I was going with is that ever since I mean, it was said in the comments that the curse started when Gruden was traded after the snow game, which that's when we started losing. So I'm not gonna argue that but then Gruden came back to try to fix it. Then the NFL stepped into that one again, and you know, with the emails and all that's another story. But I feel like from that trade, the Khalil Mack trade, that's what split Raider Nation, and that's what we've been, you know, we should do this. No, we should do that. No, you believe in that person, you're not this, or you believe in that thing, da-da-da. And all we in the show are saying is we just want consistency. That's why we're saying we should keep AP. But, you know, well, he don't have enough experience. Well, this is what he's doing. He's getting experience.
Wait, how do you get experience?
You get experience by getting experience.
Yeah, by doing the job, and if you fucking cut him after a year, he's not going to get the experience. Again,
not to mention that you're doing the exact same thing that got you to this fucking position in the first place, which is that retread shit.
Yeah,
You know,
And I
Matt
have
got called
that.
to a fucking position. Give him the shit that give him the tools to do the fucking job and stay the fuck out of his way. I'm with Coach AP. I'm really, really happy to see somebody get his opportunity. I believe that Patrick Graham was a much better qualified candidate at the time, but he was absolutely not the better person. Coach
Yeah.
AP has done something for this organization that the organization needed. Even though he's not a Raider, well, he wasn't a Raider. He decided he put on Raider to be a number one Raider, to breathe Raider back into this organization. And I will never, ever disrespect Coach Antonio Pierce for that. You know, he's done a hell of a lot more. You hear people taking condescending shots at this man, call him a rah-rah coach and shit like that. And to me, that's more than insulting because not only was he a pinnacle NFL player, played to the highest levels in that fucking game, may be a perennial pro, maybe be a Hall of Fame candidate one day. Who knows? Everybody on statistics and shit, but as long as he been out this game, they still know who the fuck he is for reasons. But he pulled off all of that shit that he had being born and bred in New York. You know, his time, well, of course he drafted by Washington and all that shit, but you know, everything that he grew through to become himself as an NFL entity. And he took all that shit and put it in the Raider basket.
Yeah.
This is who I am now. I'm never turning my back on that dude. Yeah, he's fledgling. Yeah, he makes some fucked up timeout decisions or maybe not make a decision. Or that's all part of learning. That's how you grow. You don't know shit till you find out. None of us. Who knows shit till they find out? I'm with Coach AP. And I absolutely will not judge the man, especially on his coaching prowess, until he got a legitimate fucking head, a quarterback prospect. He don't even have quarterback prospect.
I say OC. He needs a good OC that he could trust and lean on because he's a defensive guy. Now, everyone keeps saying quarterback. Now, here on the cage match, me and Savage believe Aidan O'Connell can be that guy. He has not been
getting fucked over, man.
No, he
Aidan been getting fucked over.
Since the beginning. He has not been given the chance. I've said this since what? For about 6 weeks now? I've been saying you fucking give O'Connell the start next year. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's O'Connell's job.
He should have had to start this year. They pulled that bullshit, Minshew bullshit.
I agree, but that taken away, right? You keep AP. AP's boy guy is O'Connell. You give O'Connell the full 17 games. Unless he gets injured, he has the full 17 games. Now, at the end of this, you're going to know if O'Connell is your guy or not.
Which they should have done this year so we could fucking find out. We wasted a whole fucking year of that kid development.
But you know if he's going to be your guy or not. Then next year, if he's your guy, you don't have to worry about it. He proved that he's your franchise quarterback, and you just continue moving forward. And if he's not, there's other prospects coming out next year. There's a chance of Arch Manning coming out next year. There's other prospects to go, in going. You could do it next year. But you can't turn around on the handful of fucking games this year, as well as and I want to go off of the last 9 games that he had last year. Aidan O'Connell was proving himself. But this handful of games this year, when he got handed a raw deal, ended up breaking his thumb. His second game as a starter this year, had to sit out 4 fucking weeks. How can you say O'Connell's not the guy based off of what? He's a statue. 2 weeks ago, he was running around like his fucking, I didn't see his statue.
Which is why I can't stand these fucking multimedia narratives they keep pushing. And what's even more sad about that is a lot of that bullshit ass narrative come out of these so-called Raider Nation radio stations. These motherfuckers, okay, you're absolutely right. I'm going to start with that. You're absolutely right in what you're saying. And I double down with saying, not only did he get fucked over out of this year being able to get the full year of development, damn the opportunity. Okay, fair don't exist in the NFL, but opportunities. We just said it. You don't get experience without getting experience. And nobody was banking on this kid fucking getting hurt when he did finally get thrown in there. But who operates well coming out of a backup role, especially when you should be the projected starter coming into said role. There was nothing in camp that Gardner Minshew did that established him as the head quarterback over Aidan O'Connell. So, no different than the fucking rule where they say no player should lose his fucking position to injury. Why in the fuck do Aidan O'Connell keep getting put in the fucking back seat? Now, as a human being, that's what he's established himself as. He's going to be that great guy. He's going to stay there, even at Purdue. He come from fucking, I think they said 8th string or whatever the fuck. He's not going to quit. He's going to stay in the pocket. He's going to be that guy. But to have all these extra narratives painted on him, he's a statue. He can't move. He can't do this. He can't. Nobody has no fucking idea what he can do because he never get an opportunity to do anything. And then every time he does get his opportunity to do something, he proves the narrative wrong, but he never gets the credit for the achievement that he just did.
And I'm going to go one step further in all of this because now, you know, you can say Jaden Daniels, he couldn't fucking do shit under this offensive line. So you keep O'Connell this year. You focus on your offensive line. It's the offensive line problem so you can have a running game and a quarterback that doesn't have to worry about getting hit, you know, when he drops 3 steps back and getting hit. Now, that said again, offensive line is fixed. Maybe you got a running back, you know, to be able to go. O'Connell's not your guy. Now you bring in a rookie quarterback who doesn't have to worry about an offensive fucking line that's going to get him hurt, destroyed, do this, and hurt him, or O'Connell's your guy. But the thing is, everything that's been done, even Minshew struggled because of that offensive line.
But you know what? I'm going to say this, and I haven't heard anybody bring this up. I believe Minshew was ideally, it didn't work, but I believe somebody had a hair up their ass that said, you know what? If we move on from Josh Jacobs, we may be able to survive that fucking bullshit by having a quarterback like Minshew. Now, if there's a hair of intelligence behind it, like we're at least going to start Minshew and not Aidan O'Connell so we don't get him killed, that I can at least have a shot to. But my point is, Josh Jacobs was not only the fucking captain of the team, him conjointly with fucking Mad Max Crosby was the fucking heartbeat of the team. Coach AP, when he was hired, said it was Josh Jacobs that got him hired. And the fact that he was not only one of the best blocking running backs in the fucking league, but one of the best athletes at the running back position and still an untapped talent, goes off to a place he's never even fucking been before and balls out the way that he does. And nobody on this fucking so-called Raider Nation's platform will even admit that if he was in the same home base where he had the fucking linemen and everything in tune, that would be able to have the symbiotic nature and the chemistry to be able to protect a young quarterback like Aidan O'Connell coming in. And you got fucking Devontae Adams and Jacoby fucking Myers. You end up with a fucking player like Brock Bowers, even though nobody was planning on that. But think about that as an intangible, as an X factor, because we thought Trey Tucker was going to be that. And there's no knock on him. But the whole point is everything in that whole fucking chemistry base got blown up, to me, by one dumbass bonehead fucking decision. You don't pay who deserves to be paid. You don't celebrate your veterans. You don't reward who's been through the fire with you. And I think that we're suffering that because Josh Jacobs did that. Now they're showing the same kind of alacrity and dedication to Aidan O'Connell by neglecting him of the opportunities that he deserves. Because for every fucking rep that dude don't take as a starter, regardless of his practice, training camp, OTAs, and especially fucking regular game season, fuck preseason, Aidan O'Connell by this point in time in his young career should be established NFL fucking quarterback. And there's not one single thing about that dude that screams that he can't be that. Outside of these stupid motherfuckers on the radio.
Everything I've seen. We've seen nothing but progression, good progression, out of O'Connell since his rookie year.
Since his rookie year. He don't back down from no fucking challenges. He's a killer at heart, but they won't let the fucking lion out the cage. And then they throw them fucking narratives on them. That's the shit that pisses me off. They take tools away. You take Josh Jacobs away. You create wide receiver fucking animosity. You create like literally kind of tight end division. And now we don't know what happened with Mike Mayer, and I'm hoping everything is all good and whatever his personal situations. I don't particularly care because it's none of my business. But nobody can discount that man's talent. Michael Mayer is a A1 tight end, one fucking caliber candidate for the NFL. Now we end up with Brock Bowers right behind him, the year behind, which logistically, in Mike Myers' mind, I'm assuming that would make any sense. But nothing about this organization makes any fucking sense. But when you peel all the facts away and look at the truth, we got two fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex fucking tight ends on our fucking roster. Untapped fucking talent. Devontae is gone now. Jacoby Myers has always been in the pocket, so you can actually build around a guy like that. And then we'll find out who we have as another receiver. But going into the draft, where it's always rich in fucking wide receivers, you can get you a big body, number one, and still get you a speed guy. We can be fucking dynamic if we gave our quarterback opportunity to fucking learn the offense and develop.
Yeah.
But we keep moving fucking pieces. And Aidan is always a fucking sacrifice. And I don't understand it. I believe it's almost, I think it's Aidan, if you're listening, you suffering from the RaiderMan complex. You just too nice a guy. Because certain dudes, you just got it in you where I don't give a shit. I don't want the fucking building to burn. I don't want the ship to crash just because they won't let me drive it. But the shit like that fucking kills organizations. And I think that it's hurting ours. And I support you, Aidan O'Connell. I hear all the bullshit people say that you can't do. I don't believe a motherfucking thing about it. I see nothing but progression from you. I'm riding along with the brothers on this show where I think you absolutely should be the starter, even going into this draft. And considering the fact that we on this win mission, going back to how we opened the show, by tripling down on our fuck that tanking bullshit, if we win this game, especially in big and strong fashion, that's to me giving a feather to Aidan O'Connell's cap, saying, you know what? We're going into this draft saying we already got our quarterback. And what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on finally supporting this motherfucker and getting his ass to develop that he deserves and that he needs to see where the fuck we at when the road get down to OTAs. And if we're not doing that, I need somebody, please, get out into the fucking media and explain what the fuck is the plan. Because there's no semblance of any at this point. And that shit is nauseating for a motherfucker that's been screaming Raiders as long as I have. I'm getting sick and tired of all the fucking name dropping. Oh, I've been this. Oh, I know this. I'm tired of being, like I'm contributing to my own that fucking exploitation. And I ain't getting shit out of it. You notice since the show been going, the show is plenty of content. We can go. We're a natural entity. We can go. We got the chemistry, symbiotics. We got all that shit. But what we don't have is the opportunity. Sponsorships, we need you. We on air, support some of y'all products. We need y'all to come and support ours.
I've got Raiders answer right here. Well, we just got a question. What's the highlight of the Raiders season? What's the low light of the year? It's easy. Highlight, Brock Bowers. Low light, Luke Getsy.
I still can't throw so much shit in Getsy's face. I just can't. I just like I get it, the trepidation about him, but in my mind's eye, he's caught up in the same shit, almost kind of pseudo AP. He coming in here on Tinker Toys as fucking tools. And it's not like he haven't been successful. Like, they call it the scripted plays and shit like that. To open the game, we've had how many quarterbacks, and all of them moved the ball. Some of them scored.
As Savage, I was one of those few people who was on Getsy's side all the way up until, what was it, the game before, right up to the game that we had the game that he got fired.
Right before the bye week.
Yeah, before the bye week. I was on Luke Getsy's side. I was the one of the few people who was arguing, saying it's not Getsy. I literally was.
I think our problem was Minshew. And it's nothing against Minshew. He got thrown into that position. But I think the decision to go with Minshew was the problem. Well, I think going with Minshew was supposed to, in my opinion, was supposed to salve sacrificing Josh Jacobs. And it absolutely failed horribly. I just believe that, whether it was cocky or almost kind of conceding to, because there's certain things that Telesco has said. He literally come out and said, "Hey, this is a rebuilding project, and we're not trying to hide that." You know what I mean? This is gonna be like 3-year build. You know what I mean? It's not like he's come out and said, "Hey, we winning the Super Bowl this year" and all that old shit. But at the same time, you got this split media where the truth is being told, but the media is masking it with all these little fucking facts and pseudo truths. And Raider Nation is the biggest victim of that. So when they put in fucking Minshew, he was supposed to cover all of the deficiencies that came from sacrificing Josh Jacobs. Sacrificing Josh Jacobs on the surface can't really be criticized too harshly because you got to give credit to Telesco and what he did with the draft, especially with the early picks. He actually to me, he did a damn great job in this fucking draft. So if you're going by what he said hey, we're not looking to win right now. We really building. And then you piece that together with the sacrificing of Josh Jacobs, and you couple that with the fact that he had an outstanding draft per se, and look, we got 3 starters, fucking rookies. You're doing something right. And then you listen to what's being portrayed on the radio and these national Raider Nation radio station shits. And all they so-called pundits and the people that's giving them their information, and the information, the conversation don't mesh. As a Raider fan watching it, everything is screaming Aidan O'Connell is going to get the nod as our starting quarterback next year.
Well, I want to agree with you there with caveat of saying only if AP keeps his job.
Only if AP, yeah. Fair, great.
If AP loses his job, it's a whole different story.
Yeah, all ball, yeah.
If AP gets a second year, I agree with you. I think the caveat can be O'Connell gets to start next year and everything else like that. Yeah. But
that's absolutely your credit. I didn't say that, so you get full credit for that. But I double down on what you're saying right there.
But with the Josh Jacobs thing, aside, I don't even think Josh Jacobs could run behind this offensive line right now.
I don't know. To be honest with you,
I think the biggest mistake the Raiders made was re-signing Andre James as center.
Okay, now this is literally 2 conversations in one right here. Dig this, because one, I'm gonna go backwards. One, I do believe one of the biggest mistakes was re-signing Andre James, especially for how much he got signed for and the position that he got signed to. You can't be the centerpiece of our fucking offense if that's not the position you play. So paying him and doubling down on paying him, that's like Minshew times 2. That's the exact same thing as the Minshew situation, but both of those guys are right in the center of our fucking offensive line, which is a big indication of our offensive record. But this is what I want to say. With offensive lines, that's more of a chemistry and cohesion thing.
Continuity.
It's not like we're deficient of talent. It's not like these guys are bad athletes. Outside of Andre James, he's not the greatest athlete, and he's not that well talented at them trying to put him at center. And I don't understand that, because that's not the position he played in college either, but that's a whole other conversation in itself. My point is, why do you double down with a situation that you're failing at and throw money at it and expect that it's going to change? Especially at the most important position on the fucking field.
When you draft a guy like JPJ, who stepped in at center and has played great at center.
But wait a minute. Look at our lineage, our history. In our history, prior to fucking my dude, Barry Robbins, we had only had 3 fucking centers in the history of the organization. That was one of our fucking points. That was one of our pivot points. That was one of our hinges. We stayed solid up the middle. Everything, middle pressure, middle protection. That's what Raider identity is all about. That's what the basis of our fucking running game. That's the basis of our fucking defensive pass rush. But this new regimes and all these different motherfuckers that's coming in here, these gurus and geniuses and all this shit, they can't seem to get the germane to the main thing. Whether they don't know, they don't show, or they just don't give a fuck about what's going on in the hood. But they're dismissing what the true principle of Raider Nation is about. The Raiders move from inside out like every great football team. That's how we are built. So not establishing who our center is off top. The fact that we had JPJ projected is a great thing. But the fact that he wasn't being lauded and pushed and put into that position to be able to succeed from get one. But instead you turn around and you pay this motherfucker and you're trying to force feed this and we're going to put JPJ over here and bring him along and all, whatever. I know he came into the camp hurt and all the rest of this kind of shit, but we're willing to take the gamble on that dude being there. You at least got to play the shit like you know where the fuck he going to be. So your shit is established. And I believe that we failed. We failed big time there. I agree completely with that. And Andre James, even though I won't throw the fucking arrows at him, he deserved to get whatever he got, whatever. Yeah, I'm not in this position. But he shouldn't be in that position. And realistically, considering how much we paid him, that makes it a detriment. Because not only are you shunning the kid from his development, which is the same thing you're doing at the quarterback position, so you're personally stifling your growth of your center and quarterback yourself. It's not because of injuries. It's not because of circumstances, but you're making a decision to not develop the two key components that drive your football team. That makes absolutely no fucking sense.
Yeah.
So as a Raider fan, it's challenging to get behind that. They keep selling these fucking theories and all the rest of this bullshit, but none of it adds up because it can't be true. You know, it has to be addressed. But that goes back to what I was saying about the operation of this same offensive line. And that's including if the motherfucker Andre James is still in the center position. I believe that if Josh Jacobs would have stayed, that his influence on these sons of bitches would have changed how they operate. And he would have had a damn good year. I think that the plan and the structure of the offensive line got abandoned once Josh Jacobs was released or sent off for trade or whatever they want to call it. But once they got off the Josh Jacobs train, I believe that was like taking the glue out of the fucking offensive line. Because those guys together would have figured out how they dance. And that guy individually will watch how his guys are dancing before him. And he had an eye, a vision for how he was running, and he would have made accommodations and earned those yards. And I believe that behind this same fucked up ass offensive line, Josh Jacobs would have potentially been a fucking Pro Bowl, down there perennial Pro Bowl player this year because of his talent. They keep diminishing him. That other dude, the dude from the previous regime, I believe he was trying to diminish the value of Josh Jacobs. Therefore, not giving him the ball in optimal positions, which as a coach, your only job, you got one job, one fucking job, and that's to put talented players in optimal positions to succeed. That's all you do. You teach what your philosophies and shit are, but you watch how those philosophies are ingested and absorbed by the talents and the people around you. And the people that absorb them the best, you put them in optimal positions so that they can fucking succeed. And that absolutely did not happen in any capacity with the motherfuckers that they brought in for whatever reasons. And I think that soured Josh Jacobs, that led to the holdout and all the rest of the shit, which he gonna get all the fucking bows and arrows and shit for. Oh yeah, just him. Look at his attitude, all this shit. But again, that goes to me, to this new culture of these fantasy football owners pissed off because he didn't give them the week that they thought they deserved and all the rest of this bullshit. Look at me. I'm this Raider fan. I got 10,000 followers. I'm going to vilify Josh Jacobs. I believe it's all bullshit. We got fucked over because we wasn't keeping shit germane to the main thing, and we're seeing the product of what those decisions were. So we got to eat all that shit, shake the fucking dice again, and see if we come out with Yahtzee on the fucking next OTA.
Well, being in Vegas, being in Vegas, that's craps. Uh,
It's craps.
with we got about like 5 minutes. We'll do about 5 more minutes.
Hope I can make it. I got about 10%.
Okay, so
Oh,
I'll do
we'll get you to make it.
one last question. Now that AP two game winning streak, 1 game left. I know that the Jaguars were, whatever, injured, non-talent team, whatever, and you had the Saints who on the offensive side didn't have all their weapons. Even Derek Carr wasn't playing, whatever. But so they say those 2 wins were like against teams. They were like at our level if you think about it, but they were teams that were not like the Chiefs last year when we beat the Chiefs last year on that Christmas Day. So with the Chargers coming into Allegiant Stadium, Chargers going to the playoffs. If the Raiders beat the Chargers, do you think if the Raiders beat the Chargers, should that right there give AP the chance to make it for earning a second year to try to turn this around now that he got the team playing hard with what's going on, or does this game, if he beats the Chargers, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but whatever. The question was, do you think that him being the Chargers now, they're a perennial whatever playoff team, should that be some kind of incentive for AP to keep his job going into next year and trying to do what he wanted to do from the get-go this year, that it's kind of showing right now at the end of the year with a lot of rookies and second-year guys? I'll go silent. I'll go silent first. Silent.
What's the question again? I've been in the comments here. Hold on, let me add to this one.
Yeah, I'll go. I'm fresh on it.
Okay.
Winning the game.
If he wins, if he beats the Chargers, being a playoff team now, and I don't think they're gonna. I haven't seen them sitting anybody, but if the Chargers are gonna sit anybody because in the playoffs, I don't know if they can move up or down in their stance, whatever, as a wild card.
No, they're solidified in. If we beat the Chargers, it doesn't change anything for the Chargers.
Okay, so if we beat the Chargers after winning 2 games against lowly teams like us, now we go and beat the Chargers, who's a playoff team. Does that give any kind of incentive for AP to keep his job and try to continue and build off of these 3 games with what he's working with, rookie starters and undrafted starters trying to take the place of the injured stars that are out in IR? Does that solidify him to be to get a second chance, I guess, for next year?
Okay, well, I think winning, because you saw in it was even in our intro when you had the clip in the locker room after the win, you saw Mark Davis down there happy with that win. It wasn't like he's going. So I think winning, yes, I think a win can help with the decision on keeping AP or not. We know he's going to wait till the season's over to make that decision. I think a win could help. I hope, even with the loss, we keep AP, but a win, and I know a lot of people talking about meaningless wins, all this other shit, but again, if you see the Raiders playing their hearts out and going under AP and get the win against the Chargers, like I said, a playoff team, a good team, not just lowly teams, yes, it's going to help. I hope, I'm going to say I hope it helps with the decision to keep AP going into next year.
I'll say this. If everything about Coach AP's demeanor after this past victory hasn't indicated that they already plan on going with AP into next year, then I already question whatever the fuck the plan is. I don't think, it's a fair question to think, like the win or the loss of the next game and how it would affect that coach's candidacy for next year. But I believe that that's already in the bag. I believe that decision has already been made at a certain level. And to double down on that, if you will, the decisions that have been made along Coach AP's young tenure, I believe that you know, like they say, you make the bed, you lie in it. You know, he's got to be in the boat for like playing this shit out. Like, okay, what has been the plan to this point? It doesn't feel like it's been completely devoid of funk per se. You know, there has been some semblance of like mental cognitive to it, but not strong as far as a Raider fan is concerned because we're not winning. But if you're thinking about building a culture, if you're thinking about are we going to win from here on out, and you're dealing with a guy who has been successful in your division against your perennial rivals in strong fashion at a deficiency. No quarterback, injured in a lot of cases, up against the wall. Never been like the optimal circumstance for this individual, meaning Coach AP. I believe he definitely deserves an opportunity because there's the intangible. What could you have if you just stop just dumping motherfuckers, you know, because there's also the element that we need to stop doing that as an organization. So if you could try to compartmentalize all of that, like to take AP as a separate entity in his opportunity, take the regular travails of the organization over maybe the last 20 to 25 years, and also consider the roster and all of the talent that you have accumulated and put in the position over the course of this young coach's tenure. I think it would behoove the organization to bring the coach back rather than to go out and go and hunt for something else.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion because, you know, the new incumbents are going to come in with a whole new philosophy and whatever else they want to do. And the one thing that they won't have that Coach AP does is that Raider roar in that locker room.
Yeah.
So who's going to reestablish that if you're willing to throw that away after you were just willing to go against every so-called primary candidate that there was to put this man in this position and then turn around and oust him for who? For what? That wouldn't make any sense. So regardless of how the aesthetics look on this team, as far as wins and losses, yeah, we've lost our ass this year. I got a partner that use that word a lot. We ass. We fucking ass right now. And I get it. I'm just not big on throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And Coach AP, in my mind's eye, he's only done progressive things for this organization, including the biggest thing, which is be willing to be the glue where there was none.
Yeah.
And I just can't turn my back on a man like that. You know what I'm saying? I come from a school to leave no soldiers in the fucking field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and with AP, I mean, he could have quit a couple of weeks back, thinking, okay, well, hey, I probably won't be here next year, so whatever, and I'll just write it out or whatever. But he's still doing his best to try to get these young players with no experience to do what they do. We have a lot of keys.
He called what I call he don't give a fuck in a good way.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just think you got to give him one more year to see, you know, let him fix the mistakes that he did in this year. Because I know, but he had the 9 games last year as interim, but that was McDaniel's team, and I believe that maybe when he had brought in these ex head coaches to help him out, maybe it's making him like he's not going with his gut and he's trying to coach like they would. And because he's not going with what he did, like how he coached last year, that might have hindered him. And you see now more, maybe he's starting to break out of, you know what, it's my team. My name is on this basically. So I'm just going to do what I need to do to keep my job or do what I do like I was doing last year. So give him that second year. And if it doesn't work out, if you have to oust him in 4 games, you gave McDaniels a year and 4 games. You gave Dennis Allen a year and 4 games. You know,
but wait,
give him.
And I apologize for cutting you off. I think it's important that we do this. We need to cut off revisionist history because all of those situations were all failing circumstances and situations anyway. And this is a whole new ball of wax. And it's time to build the statue that we intend to build. And this goes back to what I was getting at about Mark Davis, because he is going to be the tip of the spear. No matter how much or little you ever know about football in this lifetime, nobody will ever be able to take away from the fact that you are where your daddy was.
Yeah.
But who your daddy was completely different. And it benefited where your daddy was in ways that you're not benefiting from not being who your daddy was. So he has to establish his identity as a football entity. And I believe that this is the perfect time to push the reset on everything, every bit of narrative that's ever been put out about the Raiders over the last 20 years. Oh, we've been failing at this. Oh, we don't do this. Oh, we do this. All we do is this. Fuck all that shit. Coach AP is the right person for a situation like that. And Mark Davis is the perfect candidate for a situation like that. With a little bit of faith and a whole bunch of hunching your back, you can fuck your way through this situation. And all I'm hoping is that Mark Davis has finally made up his mind. You know what? This is what I'm finna do with my fucking team.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping the guy that Coach AP is the man that he picked to be the first fucking domino in his plan of being, you know what? This is what I'm finna do with my fucking team. This is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping the best for Mark Davis. But if he don't have that plan, and if he not in that mindset, I'm curious as motherfucking George. Because this shit wouldn't make no sense, rhyme or reason, no matter what the fuck they try to sell you. And the fact that they sell the season tickets on top of it would be a travesty. Yeah. So I'm hoping the guy, and I'm just saying it like that because that's how I feel it in my gut, that Coach AP has, through what he's sacrificed in stepping into this shit. And I love your point about him and what he's gleaned from these ex-football coaches and having those influences around, because they insulated him in ways where, like an incubator, he can get that fucking dinosaur to crack his own egg and he can find his way out. But now that he's been born, I'm hoping that motherfucker come out biting and snapping like a damn velociraptor. Because I'm tired of these motherfuckers with their damn narratives, you know.
Well, with that, we want to.
Sorry.
With that, we want to thank you, RaiderMan, for coming on. Happy birthday, Happy New Year. Did his phone die? Did he freeze?
I'm thinking maybe we might be coming up. I don't know.
Well, if you can hear us still, RaiderMan, we appreciate you coming on. We missed you. It's been a while. I know you're a busy man. Being an exterminator. He used a lot of references to that. But we want to say thank you. Asylum, I think his phone died. Yeah. Any last oh wait.
He tied with the 10%.
Yeah. Any last or anything that you want to add, like last words or whatever, or
no,
I never know how to end the show, so
this wasn't our typical show, but it is what it is. It's never a typical show when RaiderMan is on. So, going like that, again, thoughts and prayers to everybody in New Orleans and Vegas for those situations. Happy birthday to everybody who's had a birthday that got, missed. Happy birthday to RaiderMan. And, let's go Raiders. Let's go ahead and get this win. Let's keep AP. My opinion. And, big shout out, big congratulations to Brock Bowers for, breaking 3 records in one game right there. The biggest one, in my opinion, being the Mike Ditka 63-year-old record. Congratulations. And let's go ahead and get you those 8 more pass catches to break the last record you have in your way right here, and beat Zach Ertz, and let's have a Raider hold all these records going into next season.
Yeah. There's the 13th pick in last year's draft. We'll see what happens when we go into this next draft, and we're gonna put a big show in together for that, and hopefully we can have RaiderMan for that, because he knows a lot of college. He knows college players too. So With that said, like I said, Asylum said, we want to thank RaiderMan for coming on, and I think his phone had died because he said he only had like 10% left.
Yeah, he's got 10%. Yeah.
We squeeze all that power out to the last bit. So we'll come back on our last show, our last Friday show, this coming Friday, talking about the last game of the 2023 or 2024 season. We're in 2025 now. I'm back in timer now.
24.
Yeah.
You saved it. You saved it.
Yes. So our last Friday show will be this Friday, talking about the next game, which is the Chargers, the upcoming game, which is the Chargers, and go through.
To be honest, we had a lot of people show up. Chargers fans apparently talking about bolt up and everything else. So
I know we had the whole fan. I was like, we had the whole fan base on here. All three of them was on here. So shouts out to them. I guess there's no power outage with them. We got the three that showed up. So shouts out to them, and whatever. You're sharing a stadium with the Rams. They're the ones that won the Super Bowl, not you. Anyways, with that said, we want to thank everybody. This is one of our highest rated, our highest viewed live shows we've had since we've hit like up to 25. So we appreciate everyone who was watching.
The tribe, I'm sorry, in the comments here, here you talk about 5 or 6 wins. I disagree with that statement right there.
Hey,
my opinion, but
5 or 6 wins is more than what we had this year, so we'll call that an
I don't know. We could end this year with 5 wins, though.
Yeah.
We could end it with 5 wins. But I think O'Connell's good for 10 wins. I honestly do.
He's literally trying to run away with the starting job. You're not mobile. He's fine. Hey, he's finding holes now. He just got to learn how to slide. He's going to learn how to slide so he won't get hurt. Don't hit that knee again. So, With that said, we're going to come back on Friday for our last Friday show. We will always be here on Wednesday. Asylum, I stopped. I not that I forget to say, because we've been having a lot of shows where we've had to rush the intro because we had guests. We want to get all their time because they always have a lot of things to say, a lot of valuable things to say. But Asylum's been on every single show since we started this. I've missed a couple. I did the background stuff, but I missed a couple. Whatever. 2024 wasn't a great year for me, but now we're in 2025. You always catch us on Wednesdays. So make sure if you haven't, share, subscribe to the show, and help us out, because we do this to give you guys voices, whether it's in the chats for us to discuss. Nobody is wrong because, nobody is wrong because nobody is right. We're just fans trying to figure out what's going on.
Just like right there. I gave my opinion with the AOC. I didn't say he was wrong. All I said was I disagree.
Yeah.
And it's okay to disagree. And that's the premise of the show. It's okay to fucking disagree. Not calling anybody wrong because of their beliefs or how they see shit. It is their right. And we definitely don't want to be going saying you're wrong this and try to browbeat our own opinions into other people's go and all that shit. We want everybody to be able to have a voice.
Yeah.
On our show, whether it's in the chat or you come on like with RaiderMan or Jeff or Peggy or Demon King, any of the people we have on, everybody has a voice.
Yeah. And sorry.
Oh, God damn it.
I clicked it. My bad. You do it. I'm not gonna touch it no more. You got it. So yeah, so we just want to thank everybody, because at the end of the day, it's just win, baby. But for what we're going through is just win, baby. That's all we want, all of us. We all have our views, but we're all facing the right. We're all facing the same light that we all just want to win. We're all passionate fans who want to win. Sometimes that passion can get toxic or whatever, but we all have the same. We all want the same end goal. Okay. So that's why we don't attack people on this, on the comments or whatever, because we don't know. We're not in the building. No one's in the building. We just go by what we know, what we see, what we're used to, what we experienced. This PTSD as Raider fans. We try to be therapy. This is a tailgate party. Like RaiderMan had drinks. I only had the one shot because I didn't know we were going to do that on a Wednesday. I know it is.
I always drink, so it's okay.
So we're just trying to be like those old debates at a tailgate, where at the end of the day, you're both going to walk into the the tunnel after your ticket and going. We're all going to go watch the same game, having the same mindset that I just want to see winning football. So with that said, thank you everybody for watching our show, and come back on Friday as we talk. Our last Friday show as we talk about the Charger game. Yes. Ooh, coming to a close. Yes, we're gonna land this right now. We usually go 2 hours, not 3 hours, but we give RaiderMan all opportunity.
No. That's what I'm saying. RaiderMan, 3 hours is generally closer to what the show's going to be.
Yeah, because RaiderMan has been doing this at least since '95 when the Raiders came back to Oakland. So we always give him his platform to say what he feels and sees with this team. So with that said, thank you everybody. Happy New Year's. Let's start this year off right. And get your resolutions down. Don't quit the gym on Friday if you signed up today. And just win, baby. That's it. That's all you want. All right, Solemn. With that, I'll see you Friday.
See you Friday.
We'll game plan for the Raiders to see how we can get that third in a row, at least end on a winning note like we did last year. All right. Season went by too long and too fast. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And take care. And we're going to end the show like we always do with a word from Raider Mill, a.k.a. Coach Wallace, my old coach from high school. Diehard Raider fan, passed away a few years back. So we always keep his memory alive on this podcast. All right, everybody. Take care. Have a good night. And get over all your hangovers from last night. All right.
All right, dude.
Peace out.
All you other NFL teams, your tailgates are weak. Your teams are weak. We might be down right now, but it doesn't take away the history. And all you Raiders out there need to know your fucking history of who the fuck you playing for and where the fuck you're playing. Damn it. Oh, and by the way, I won my last cage fight. Again, I'm still undefeated. And you NFL motherfuckers out there that you think you want some, come on and get some anytime.